CS custody. Those that are in the country illegally will be turned over to ICE after their court proceedings. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com.
An up and down day ends in the green as investors await the much anticipated NVIDIA earnings report. Dow added 47 points, the NASDAQ gained 131, and the S&P rose 24 points. The index is coming off a 4-day losing streak, its longest in nearly 3 months, and has been shaky because of stock price and interest rate worries. On the winning end was Constellation Energy, which added 5% after the U.S. Energy Department said it would lend the company $1 billion to restart the Unit 1 nuclear plant at 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania. Unit 1 stopped operating in 2019, with nuclear struggling to compete with natural gas. It was Unit 2 that melted down in 1979. On the losing end, Target, which lost 3% after reporting weaker revenue for the latest quarter than expected, and hinted that it might see a muted holiday shopping season. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And stock futures looking really good. We've got Dow futures up 293, NASDAQ futures up 388, S&P futures, they're plus 82. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather just ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Well, the delays look very light this morning, but visibility is down to less than a quarter of a mile in some spots. Be careful out there this morning. It looks like on 65 heading into Nashville this morning in the Goodlettsville area, things are slowing down a bit there. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends, and welcome on in to a Thursday, November 20th. You ever get Grok mad at you, Joan? You ever have Grok, like, clearly just sick and tired of you asking the same damn question over and over again in 15 different ways?
I can't say I have.
That happened to me this morning.
Oh.
Grok is getting a little pissy with me this morning, as a matter of fact.
What'd you ask it?
I asked Grok in like 15 different ways the 7th Congressional District is that part of Lower Broadway, right? Well, the bars are and stuff. And so I asked it, I mean, it had to be 5 different ways, because one time it said it was in the 5th. And then other times, if I asked it a different way, it was in the 7th. So finally, Grok says this. You ready?
Yeah.
Well, Dan, if you're standing in front of Tootsie's, Old Red, Jason Aldean's Bar, or any of the classic honky-tonks on Lower Broadway, you are in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. Ask me why that's important.
Okay, why is that important?
Because Aftyn Behn hates Nashville. That was a long way to go for that, wasn't it?
Sure was, Dan.
So Greg Price, who is, I guess he's one of these, works in the GOP circles, all that kind of stuff. So he has posted this audio of Aftyn Behn talking about how she hates Nashville. By the way, we have video to go with this. It is only audio. It's a picture of Aftyn Behn, but it's only audio. This is what she says.
Heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad. They're so loud.
So there you go. That is Aftyn Behn.
Oh my gosh.
She wants to represent the part of Nashville that she hates. Country music.
Woo-woo girls.
The woo girls. I think they were just woo, not woo-woo.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The woo girls.
Yeah.
And, my question would be, number one, I don't know the context of this audio. Like, I don't know if this was on a podcast. I don't know if this was secretly recorded during a private conversation. I don't know what it is.
That's really bizarre. It's bizarre that she would say that she hates everything about the city that she
wants to represent. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. That's why I was so shocked. I'm like, okay. So there's no way that somebody running for the 7th Congressional District would actually say that about part of her district that she wants to represent. That's number one. Number two, my question would be, okay, so if she hates all these things, Aftyn Behn, so if she hates all these things, then how can we be guaranteed that she's going to protect it? In other words,
right.
all these bars that she abhors, all of these bars and the country music that she hates, you know how many jobs are affiliated with Lower Broad? Many. Do you know how many millions and millions and millions of tourist dollars are dependent on something that she hates?
Yeah.
There's a lot of money tied to something that she hates, and she wants to represent this district. That is insanity.
It really, it's shocking. It's shocking.
It is. It is crazy. Here's more. So this again, I'm going to play this again. Aftyn Behn.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts.
Oh my gosh.
And they walk out and they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad. They're so loud.
Judgy much?
Right.
Very judgy, and I don't know. This doesn't make any sense to me. So then I started thinking, well, what exactly has she done? I mean, this is something Sam and I have spoken about. Aftyn Behn. What exactly has she done? Because I'm looking at her resume, right? And number one, I don't know, for people on the super text line, I don't know where this audio came from. So that's number one. I'd like to know, because maybe there's more context, maybe additional context that doesn't make it as abhorrent as it sounds. But then you have this attention being focused on an opinion piece called, and she wrote this a few years ago, 2019, an opinion piece called "Tennessee is a Racist State, and so is its state legislature."
Oh, my gosh.
And again, from 2019. Girlfriend, if you hate Nashville so much, can you just get the hell out of Dodge? Go back to Knoxville, which is where she's from. I don't understand why she has such a hatred for the state of Tennessee and for the city of Nashville that she wants to represent. So this is when she was, and still does, by the way, but this was back in 2019. She aligns with Justin Jones and that whole crowd, you know. And so she was calling Tennessee racist in 2019 because of the bust of Nathan Bedford Forrest in the state capitol. Joan, you missed all that fun. She described, of course, the racist policies of the state of Tennessee, so on and so forth. So again, it really is clear that Aftyn Behn does not like our state. And does not like, what is it she, you know what I don't get? We got a lot of good people moving to the state of Tennessee. So the bad ones, they can move out, right? Aftyn, if you want to go to Chicago, you go right on ahead. You want to go to, I don't know, Los Angeles, Portland.
Bye-bye.
Seattle. But see, you know why they don't go to those different places, Joan? Is because they don't stand out there. Like, remember, Aftyn Behn is the AOC of the South, right?
Oh, yeah.
So people don't go there. Somebody like Aftyn Behn wouldn't go to Los Angeles because she wouldn't get the attention that she so desperately craves, because there's an Aftyn Behn every 2 feet in Los Angeles, in California, which is why California has disintegrated into the illegal immigrant hellhole that it is. Why am I in a great mood today?
Yeah, well.
Good morning. I saw this.
There it is.
And it was just like, wow. And I do wonder if she's going to have a statement on this, because I wouldn't think that you would, get out and start bashing the town and the district that you want to represent, say that she hates you. Does that mean she's going to try to destroy the district and all those jobs that go with it?
Did she have anything to say about not appearing with Kamala Harris when she was here?
No, I don't. See, that's the thing about this audio. I don't know where this comes from. Like, I have no idea if, and I wish Greg Price would tell us where this came from. Because you know what the thing is? With AI, you never really know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people have sent me AI that they admitted that they conjured up, and it's me saying some of the most god-awful things. So, I mean, you never really know. So I would hope that Aftyn would come up and, have something to say about this, maybe give it more context. But, looking at her resume, it looks like she's been an activist all of her life. Now, apparently she was a social worker, I guess at some point. She's got a social worker degree. But I don't see where she's actually worked as a social worker. She may very well have. She grew up in Knoxville, came out here, and I'm looking at her resume, if you will. Community organizer, campaign organizer, organizer for political organizations, campaign director for another political organization. So I'm trying to figure out, where was she ever a job creator? Where has she ever been in charge of actually meeting a payroll or having to, go to work every day at, 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. It just looks like a whole bunch of community activism to me. Now, I could very well be wrong, because there are places out there that say that she worked as an actual social worker. Okay, fine. But I just see a whole lot of community activism and community organizing going on here. Nothing really that had, in my opinion, that had a lot of real responsibility. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I mean, you get out there, you knock on the door. You didn't have to respond to that, but thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
But you get out there, you knock on doors and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know. I don't. People say, well, she went to that highfalutin private school out there in Knoxville. Yes, she did. Very highfalutin private school. I don't know if it was a high school or what. The Webb School? I don't know.
Oh, she went to the Webb School?
Yeah. Do you know what the Webb School is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's in Bell Buckle.
Oh, okay.
Or War Trace, whatever.
It's a boarding school.
It's a private, very good school, like very good school. But very expensive.
You know what? I was going to say something really mean, and I'm not going to. No, I'm not going to. Don't try to force it out of me.
You're going to do it anyway, Dan.
No,
Just
forget
go
it, Joan.
for it.
Don't try to get me in trouble. I'm not going to do it, Joan.
Dan, it's not about getting you in trouble. Clearly not. I wouldn't do that to you.
I think clearly her parents got tired of her and sent her off to boarding school. I think that's what it was. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so there you go. So that's Aftyn Behn. No, she didn't say anything. Do you think this is part of what was about to drop with the whole Kamala Harris thing? Because people are still baffled by that.
Yeah.
The whole Kamala Harris thing. Because I wonder if there's more.
Yeah, well, I was looking for, more information about why she would not appear with Kamala Harris or Kamala Harris wouldn't appear with her. I guess it really is. And I cannot find anything this morning.
So do you think Kamala Harris, because Brian and I it was a very small debate. I don't even think it was a debate. It was more observations. But where, if I remember right, Brian's take was that Aftyn wouldn't appear with Kamala. And my take is Kamala wouldn't appear with Aftyn.
I think that's more like it.
Do you think, hey, let's do a Daily Dan poll. Which do you think it was? Do you think that Kamala wouldn't appear with Aftyn, or if Aftyn wouldn't appear with Kamala? I think Kamala wouldn't appear with Aftyn. I think they don't want that stink. Because, I hope, and clearly with this audio coming out, that people will not vote for Aftyn Behn, certainly that, live in the general area of Broadway. And think about all of those. Here's the other thing to think about. Is anything going on in traffic?
It's just hard to see.
Oh.
Very foggy this morning. Down to visibility.
Okay.
Yeah, visibility. Did you not run into any of that?
No, I didn't hit any fog on the way in.
In some spots, it's down to a quarter of a mile. It's pretty thick, so just be careful, yeah.
Thick as Aftyn Behn's head. So anyway, I've got to stop. So anyway.
You know what I'm finding, though, about a lot of the places that are posting information about the Kamala Harris being here and her book tour, and
right.
that they'll say, and Politico did this. I posted this on my X account. Politico did this. She turned out to an event where Aftyn Behn was. It was, part of the DNC, a Get Out the Vote rally. Kamala Harris was there.
Yes.
But they never mention that the two didn't appear together. There are no photos.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's the whole story.
That's the entire story.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And Politico just whiffed right over it. I'm reading one now in the Chattanooga Times Free Press. Whiffed right over it. They didn't. It was just an event that they were both there at. She was there to support her.
And then leaves 5 minutes before the vice president gets there.
That is the story. And that's malpractice in journalism. Clearly,
I think Politico is a leftist hack.
Absolutely,
isn't it a leftist hack? So
it is.
For me, I don't know. I personally believe that maybe there's more audio coming. I don't know, but go ahead and watch us on YouTube. Take the Daily Dan poll. By the way, I don't know. I arrived at work today, and there's a large inflatable turkey in the studio, as a matter of fact. Hey, can you turn on the... Okay, so Sam has now turned on the dual cameras, whatever it is. So you can see over my right shoulder, and you can see the big inflatable turkey. Murphy Show left me a
love note.
Dan, your 5 a.m. guest got here early. And there it is.
It's pretty noisy, too.
You know what? I've had a lot of turkeys sit in that chair. Get it? Is it too noisy? Do I need to, Sam, is it too noisy? Do I need to turn the turkey off?
Gobbles are made by male turkeys for the purpose of letting hens know where they are during the spring breeding season.
Okay, that's all fine, well and good, but should I deflate the turkey?
No, I think it works in there.
Yeah, but if it's making noise, I don't want to distract from everything that I'm saying by having a low grade hum in the background.
No. It's not making any noise.
No? All right, super texters. Can you hear the turkey in the background? And I'm not talking about a gobble gobble. I'm talking about, what should we name the turkey? Aftyn. We got to name the turkey Aftyn. That's what we got to do. Aftyn the turkey.
I love it.
The turkey sounds smarter. All right, it is 5:21 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. I will be getting the super text line open here momentarily, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Joan's got the news coming up at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, so we do have fog this morning. We also have rain arriving. The complete forecast is coming up. Also, why former FBI Director James Comey may go free. Those stories coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Selling your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Marks Bain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to marksbain.com today.
.526, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Do you know what I like about this audience, Joan?
What's that?
What I love about this audience is oftentimes we're like simpatico on a lot of things. Other things, not so much. But other people are saying the same thing, which is it possible that Aftyn Behn audio is some sort of AI? But I can't imagine. Like if you are like this guy, Greg Price, right? I don't know exactly who he is, but this making the rounds on the internet. So my question would be this. If it really was AI, why would you as a conservative concoct a statement of AI making your opponent look bad when these days anyway, I think it's kind of easy to tell whether or not something is AI, isn't it? Like I know that there's always like the initial, oh my gosh. But then when you start looking at, the actual audio recording and these kinds of things, you can tell that it's AI. So that would be, the question is, if you're a conservative, you don't need to make up anything via AI to make your opponent look bad. All you got to do is look at their policies, right? So I can't imagine, there's no real upside to a conservative concocting a statement made by an opponent like Aftyn Behn saying that she hates Nashville. There's no reason to make that up because just her policies in and of themselves are abhorrent. But if you're going to be found out, and it's really easy to be found out if a piece of audio tape is AI, then there's the potential to only make yourself look bad. Do you know what I mean? So in other words, I don't think this is AI. I would hope that it's not AI. If somebody did concoct this and it is AI, well, then shame on them. But if it's real audio of Aftyn Behn talking about how much she hates Nashville and country music and all that kind of stuff, well, then shame on her for even, for thinking that or saying that, especially as someone who, I'm assuming at this time she was already in office. So, I mean, I'm kind of shocked that this audio is out there of Aftyn Behn saying that, she hates Nashville. And if you're just joining us, let me play real quick one more time. Then I've got some other things that I want to tell you about coming up at 5:35. But this is Aftyn Behn.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad.
They're so loud.
There you go. So I don't know, it doesn't sound like AI to me. You sound like AI to you? Sam?
No, not at all. Especially the whole where she pulls her voice in for the it city. I don't think AI's there just yet.
Joan, what do you think? It doesn't sound like AI to me.
I don't think it's AI.
Okay, very good.
She kind of laughed. Like there's portions about it that I don't think you can make up. I don't know. Maybe I don't know AI, but I just don't feel like it had emotion, and I don't think AI can generate that. Maybe it can. I don't know.
Okay. And there's almost like a high-pitched whine. I don't know how many people hear it when AI generates a voice that you can just kind of tell that it's not.
1744 says, in her defense, country music does suck. No, it doesn't.
Oh, it does not.
Just stop it, you people.
There is a great AI video out there this morning. Have you seen President Trump playing soccer with Ronaldo?
No, I have not.
In the Oval Office.
All right, let's do that coming back because I'm running late. I'm supposed to stay on time. So it is 5:30 on WTN.
Good morning now, 5:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Well, it is a very foggy start to our day for a lot of folks. Visibility down to a quarter of a mile in some places, and Stefano says it is a tough ride for sure.
So you'll need the extra time this morning. Notice your first alert forecast brings that rain in heading through the afternoon and into the evening. So I really think the alert day will continue the rest of today.
Rain arriving before midday and our high around 66 today. Tennessee has joined a settlement with property management company Greystar, which is accused of artificially increasing rent prices by using what's called algorithmic pricing. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett.
Greystar shared supply and pricing data with their competitors through the RealPage software. Tennessee's Attorney General Jonathan Scrimetti says this caused rent prices and hikes there that did not align with the market and reduce competition, too.
Greystar manages more than 6,000 rental units in the state of Tennessee. The criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey is on rocky ground. Now, he's charged with making a false statement and obstructing Congress, but at a court hearing yesterday, the way the prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, secured the indictment against him was highly scrutinized by the judge.
The judge ended up putting Halligan on the spot. She has never tried a criminal case before, and she admitted that she never showed the full grand jury the final version of the indictment before it was signed by the foreperson. And that is highly irregular. The disclosure shocked the courtroom into silence, and almost immediately his attorney called for the entire case to be thrown out.
Of course. ABC's Aaron Katersky there. Now, CNN says some may consider it a clerical error that could be fixed. Others see it as a possibility that it could be a fatal flaw in this case. Brooks and Dunn named Vocal Duo of the Year for the 16th time at the 59th Annual CMA Awards last night here in Nashville. That win brought their total number of CMA Awards to 20, more than any other artist in the show's history.
I heard earlier tonight, do y'all ever get sick of this? Oh, hell no, man. This is too good. Thank you very much.
Cody Johnson named Male Vocalist of the Year. Lainey Wilson took home the Female Award. She also won Entertainer of the Year. That is the latest news. Traffic is next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. got a crash on the eastbound side of 24 in Laverne. It's just before Old Hickory Boulevard South, exit 62. Watch out. You've got some fog in a bunch of spots this morning, and it's pretty thick. Stefano says down to less than a quarter of a mile in some spots, so it may take you extra time to get to work. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.537, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk and 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. So, Joan, you've sent me something. And so this soccer player, his name is
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Now,
It's Ronaldo and Donaldo. Or Donaldo. Donaldo.
Ronaldo and Donaldo? That's his name?
No.
Oh,
Donald Trump, Donaldo.
Oh,
Donaldo.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this is apparently something went viral yesterday.
Yeah.
You've got Donald Trump, and he is in the Oval Office with Ronaldo, and they then start kicking a soccer ball around, headbutting the soccer ball, kicking it like a hacky sack.
It's funny the way President Trump's moving around the Oval Office like
Well, I'm
he's
pretty
dancing.
sure. Well, this is it. Yeah, this is AI, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Although I could see Trump doing this. I could totally see Trump doing that. Good leg work, good footwork by the president.
Putting his head down to, catch the ball and pop it off his head.
That's exactly right.
Pop it off his hair. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, see, that's how you know that it's AI. Because if it was real and Trump tried to bump the ball off of his hair, it would just get stuck in there with all the hairspray.
Yeah.
That's what it would.
It might poke a hole in it.
Okay, that was funny.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, so yeah, Sam was trying to explain to me the greatness of Ronaldo, and he said that it's either Ronaldo or Messi as the greatest soccer players ever.
Right.
I'm calling fake news on that because I think Pele was the greatest ever soccer player in the world. That's right, he was Pele. Now, Sam apparently disagrees, and he insinuated that Pele was on cocaine.
I didn't insinuate it. He did in a 2006 biography.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Did he was on cocaine when he played?
When he played, really?
He claimed it was post-retirement, and there are people that claim it was like, nah, dude, it was during your career.
Would cocaine make you do better at, like, soccer?
100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Would it help me with my show?
I mean, you might get through a 4-hour show in 2.5 hours.
Could I?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. That's what I need.
Wow, he had organ failure and colon cancer. Man.
Pele?
Yeah.
You don't get that from just occasional use.
You might.
Wow. There's a lot of people that have had organ failure and whatever else, and they have not taken cocaine.
Well, they weren't professional athletes the majority of their lives either.
Whatever. All right, so Messi or this other guy, who cares? All right. Whatever, I don't care. Do you know how I give a crap about soccer? I don't care.
I played it, and mine's at the bottom.
But there's some people in the audience. My friend Aaron is probably, crap texting me right now, talking about how soccer's the greatest ever.
That noon to 3 guy loves his soccer.
Oh, yeah. Well, he
Chad
didn't play
Benson?
soccer. He played soccer.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's brought that up. Time or two. I'm kidding. All right. You guys want to hear some Jasmine Crockett crap? So she made a couple of big mistakes. Number one, she said that Lee Zeldin, did you hear about this?
Oh, my gosh. Get the wrong Epstein name. That's...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then she said, my people. She said, my people got this for me. So how bad are you at picking staffers that you can't get someone to research the proper name?
Okay, so here's the question, though. Do you believe that, and this is not an official, like, Daily Dan poll, but do you believe that Jasmine Crockett, and by the way, so here's what happened. I'm looking for the audio. This isn't where I was going to go, but here, I think I found it, where she was out there and she's talking about Lee Zeldin, and Lee Zeldin is the head of the EPA for Donald Trump, and she comes out and she says, oh, yeah, he got he got a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. Well, it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but not the Jeffrey Epstein. So now the question is she intentionally lying? Here's what happened on CNN. Listen.
You talked about Republicans taking money from a Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what you said.
Who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team dig in very quickly. Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, Win Red, McCain Palin, Rick Lazio.
So she goes on and on, names all these folks.
You mentioned Lee Zeldin there. He's now a cabinet secretary. He responded and said it was actually Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who's a doctor that doesn't have any relation to the convicted sex trafficker. Unfortunate for that doctor, but that is who donated to a prior campaign of.
You know what I love is they show the tweet by Lee Zeldin. Yes, Crockett, a physician named the Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who is a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein, donated to a prior campaign of mine. No freaking relation, you genius.
You got to do the claps.
The claps?
Yeah, there's clap
there's-
emote. No freaking relation, you genius.
Oh, is that supposed to be a thing?
Yeah, that's what the emojis are there for. Theater of the mind.
Anyway, so now Jasmine Crockett is saying, oh, well, I didn't actually say that Lee Zeldin got a donation from the Jeffrey Epstein, just a Jeffrey Epstein.
Do you want to correct the record on the people that
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make.
Oh, my God. That's her take. Her take is that she wasn't talking about the Jeffrey Epstein. It was a Jeffrey Epstein. She knows darn right well what the heck she was talking about.
Absolutely.
Oh, my. This is just so vile. Just so vile.
prior campaign of his. Do you want to correct the record on the people that.
Listen, I never said that it was that Jeffrey Epstein, just so that people understand when you make a donation, your picture is not there. And because they decided to spring this on us in real time, I wanted the Republicans to think about what could potentially happen, because I knew that they didn't even try to go through the FEC. So my team, what they did is they Googled, and that is specifically why I said a Jeffrey Epstein. Unlike Republicans, I at least don't go out and just tell lies.
Oh, my God. She just did.
She just did.
Dr. Epstein, I hope you sue her.
Yeah, in a big
Defamation,
way.
please.
Yes.
You know, I don't quite understand, like, the spin here. You know what I mean? Is just, I'm trying to figure out how she gets from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Because clearly, either she knowingly lied or she made a mistake and now she's refusing to take accountability for it. Now, I don't know which is worse. I think knowingly lying is worse. And so I guess what I'm trying to glean from her comments is when she said on the House floor that Lee Zeldin received a donation from Jeffrey Epstein, did she know that she was lying? And she can say, well, no, I wasn't lying. The guy's name is Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Again, she knows what she was doing. And so I think, and let's see if Caitlin Collins here, let's see if old Caitlin Collins calls her on this.
Because it was not the same one, that's fine. But when Lee Zeldin had something to say, all he had to say was it was a different Jeffrey Epstein. He admitted that he did receive donations from a Jeffrey Epstein, so at least I wasn't trying to mislead people. Now,
oh my God.
At least I wasn't trying to mislead people.
Does she really think people are that dumb? Like, oh my God.
I think she's that dumb. I think she thinks it's okay to associate somebody based on name alone.
Right.
No other information, and then somehow that's a smoking gun against Republicans. I think she's that dense in the head.
But see, isn't this, but this actually kind of personifies everything that is going on right now with Epstein. And by the way, going to do a big deep dive into the whole Epstein thing coming up in the 6th. But when you talk about, and when she's talking about how, oh, well, you know, it's not that Jeffrey Epstein. So part of what's going on with all of this is that every time the Democrats try to catch Donald Trump in this, it blows up in their face. And I do understand that part of the news cycle today, and this was really been going on the last couple of days, is that this keeps backfiring on the Democrats. Because the more we find out about Jeffrey Epstein, the more we find out that he was, although, people who have been covering this for a long time know that this is a guy that was donating to Democrats. Hakeem Jeffries went asking for this guy for money. Hakeem Jeffries wanted money from him. Epstein gave money to Chuck Schumer. Epstein gave money to a whole bunch of Democrats and some Republicans as well, but apparently not Lee Zeldin. And so the more this goes on, and we'll have to see the 30 days, right? So the documents are supposed to be released in 30 days.
That would be December 19th that it would be mandated to be released.
All right, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. There are some loopholes here, and we're going to get into all of this in the 6. But here's more from Jasmine Crockett. She swears. Take her word for it, friends. She was not trying to mislead people when she said that Lee Zeldin was getting donations from Jeffrey Epstein. Not the Jeffrey Epstein, but a Jeffrey Epstein.
I wasn't trying to mislead people. Now, have I dug in to find out who this doctor is? I have not. So I will trust and take what he says is that it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein, but I was not attempting to mislead anybody. I literally had maybe 20 minutes before I had to do that debate.
Yeah, but people might see that and say, well, you're trying to make it sound like he took money from
I did not know.
A registered sex offender.
No, but I literally did not know.
I literally did not know. Do you know there's some things that maybe if you don't know, maybe you shouldn't say or post? And saying somebody is getting political donations from a sex offender, it's pretty high on the list of things I'm pretty sure you want to have nailed down before you say it and before you post it, right? But Joan, she literally only had 20 minutes. With all of the Googling and researching power of the House of Representatives, she only had 20 minutes to confirm. I'm going to tell you that in today's day and time, with today's technology, 20 minutes is forever to nail down something like this, especially when you're talking about the research capabilities of the House of Representatives. Are you buying this load of crap that she's trying to sell?
I can guarantee you that she was expecting for Caitlin Collins to have her back.
Oh, yeah.
She thought Caitlin Collins was going to come right out and follow her right down that trail.
Yep.
So I found it in 5 minutes, just so we're clear.
So so exactly what does it say?
Donor lookup, open secret, self-employed physician, Epstein Jeffrey donated $750 on April 24th of 2020 to Lee Zeldin, to his PAC.
Does it say where this Dr. Epstein lives?
Babylon, New York.
You know what's so funny?
And here's the funniest part. The date, April 24th, 2020. The other Epstein was already dead.
Oh, there is that. There is that.
So... what a whiff.
Man.
Okay, so she had literally 20 minutes. I'm quoting her. She had literally 20 minutes. Sam found it in 5. By the way, realize she's also got professional researchers.
Yes.
So I'm not buying any of this crap.
When you search FEC files, and that's what I had my team to do, I texted them and I said, listen, we're going up. They are saying that she took donations.
Right, but someone might say, well, your team should have done the homework to make sure it wasn't the convicted.
The buck stops here.
Yeah.
Jasmine.
Within 20 minutes, you could not find that out, not from just doing a quick search on FEC.
I mean, you say you found it in 5. I've done similar searches. I don't deny that it would take all of 5 minutes. Somebody half your age could do it in half the time, Sam. Just saying.
So, number one, I made sure that I was clear that it was a Jeffrey Epstein, but I...
Wow. Joan, that's all you've got to do. Sam, that's all you've got to do is make sure it is a Jeffrey Epstein. Forget about the fact that, the Jeffrey Epstein was dead when this whole thing supposedly happened. You know what's amazing,
she's a piece
too?
of work.
She won't apologize. That's the crazy thing, is that Jasmine Crockett will not apologize to Lee Zeldin or the other still alive and non-pedo, Jeffrey Epstein. Dr. Epstein. How would you like to be named Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh, God.
I mean,
it'll never happen again.
Why would you not just, change your name?
Probably.
It's not Epstein, it's Epstein.
Oh my God.
Oh,
I
yeah,
get
there you go.
That's what I
I
would
get
do.
the reference.
Yeah.
Young Frankenstein.
Oh, is that a young Frankenstein?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's Frankenstein.
Sure, that's what I meant. Here's more.
A Jeffrey Epstein, but I never said that it was specifically that Jeffrey Epstein because I knew that we would need more time to really dig in.
All right.
So are you admitting you're wrong? Are you taking any kind of accountability, or
she's
just trying to throw somebody under the bus?
She's not accepting any accountability or responsibility at all.
Shout out Melvin in the YouTube chat. Joke du jour about Jasmine Crockett here. She needs to stop sniffing her own nail polish.
Yeah, I guess. All right. I think the whole thing is fun. It's not a good day for the Democrats. You got Aftyn Behn talking about how she hates Nashville and Lower Broad, where she wants to represent. That coming out overnight. We covered that earlier. And now Jasmine Crockett looking absolutely terrible, making very scurrilous accusations against Republicans and Lee Zeldin. It is 5:54 on Super Talk 99.7. The Super Text line is open. Thank you very much for a lot of the folks chiming in. Got a lot more straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News on WTN. I'm sorry, Joan, what's coming up in the news at 6?
Well, we'll tell you what AG Pam Bondi has to say about releasing all the Jeffrey Epstein files coming up here at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:57, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Joan.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. We pulled off one hell of a 5 o'clock hour considering how it started. Sam.
Yes, Sam.
I got a panicked phone call from Sam at like 4:35. And he's like, I'm not going to get there till 5:15. And so I'm like, oh, so I guess I got to figure out how to put the radio station on the air and do all that kind of stuff, which, I mean, trust me, you don't want me doing that. However, we got us on the air. We even got us on YouTube. But Sam, why did you oversleep?
Yeah.
So I was working on stuff on the couch. I had my headphones on and I fell asleep. And my wife left me there instead of waking me up to go to bed. So when my alarm went off, I could not hear it. I still had my headphones on. She thought I looked cute. She thought that I don't sleep enough, so I'll leave him there.
So she left you there knowing full right well your headphones are on and you've got no and you're not going to be able to hear your alarm on your phone.
I don't think it was anticipated. She thought maybe I would rouse myself or you know, my circadian rhythm would kick in or something.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
Did you break land speed laws to get here?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, you got here awful fast, mister.
You did, actually.
Yeah, there's some people on I-24 that are pretty angry at me.
So will you be having a discussion with your wife about maybe next time you're asleep on the couch with headphones on? Perhaps maybe she should wake you up?
Boy, yeah. I forget the name of the movie. Husband and wife are spatting, and he bends her over his knee and spanks her, and the little girl goes, Daddy, why are you spanking Mommy? It's because you love her, right? And he goes, yes, that's what I've been trying to tell her. So, something to that effect.
Something's happening in that household.
I don't even know what to say.
I know.
Like, that got weird. Suddenly, me having a big inflatable turkey is the most normal thing happening on this show.
It looks like it wants to kill you.
All right, got a lot more straight ahead. 6 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning. It is 6 o'clock, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Got a dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning. Right now, it's 57 degrees. The fog is pretty thick in some spots this morning. You'll need extra time to get to work. And then we've got showers arriving later on this morning, late this morning, all the way through this evening. And it could get pretty heavy at times as well. Our high today is 66. In the news, President Trump has signed that bill that releases the entire FBI Jeffrey Epstein file. While again, the president accused Democrats of us being the ones associating with the disgraced financier. Now, under the measure, the Justice Department now has 30 days to release the materials once the president signs it. So that means December 19th is the date we're all focused on. Attorney General Pam Bondi telling ABC News yesterday the DOJ will, quote, follow the law.
The Justice Department says it may withhold or redact identities of victims and personal and medical files. It can also withhold files it considers an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy.
ABC's Alex Stone. Now, new fallout from the Epstein scandal. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers now says he's going to step back from his teaching role at Harvard while the university investigates his ties to Epstein. Metro police are searching for a suspect who escaped custody at Nashville General Hospital yesterday morning. Officers said 20-year-old Marcus Stanton was handcuffed when he ran away from police. He was being treated for swallowing the drugs that police were trying to get their hands on. This man tells Channel 4 he just can't believe it.
Man, it's pretty alarming, but it's not surprising what goes on around here in this neighborhood. And we just got to watch out for the kids, man.
Stanton was wanted on multiple warrants, including auto and gun theft. Anyone who sees him should call 911. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
A strong quarterly report from NVIDIA boosted the tech-intensive NASDAQ composite Wednesday, driving it higher by 0.6%. The Dow gained 47 points. The S&P finally snapped a 4-day losing streak. The information blackout imposed by the government shutdown has ended, kind of. The employment report to be released today is expected to show that 50,000 jobs were created in September. The full October report won't be released because data couldn't be collected. The price of the star of most Thanksgiving dinners, the turkey, is down this year thanks to deep discounts from retailers. Porsche this morning has unveiled what it's calling its most powerful production vehicle ever, and it's an SUV. The all-electric Cayenne will do 0 to 60 in 2.4 seconds. It starts at $109,000. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Right now, the Dow futures are plus 194, NASDAQ futures gaining 354. We've got S&P futures up 68 points. That's the latest news. Traffic next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Couple of trouble spots now. Eastbound on 24 past Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit 60. That crash there is blocking off the right shoulder. And on Broadway in the Gulch this morning near 14th Avenue North, that's the scene of a crash as well. Pretty slow coming in on 65. From the north, the westbound lanes of 24, they're slowing down. This morning, a lot of areas may be slow because visibility is down because of fog. Be careful. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in. November 20th. And appreciate you listening. Thursday, right? Thursday, November 20th. Yeah, it's Thursday. I was off one day, Joan, and it always messes me up with, okay, what day is it?
You don't need excuses, Dan.
Anyway, moving on. The Epstein files are due to be released in 30 days. President Trump said this on Truth Social. Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats, was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, and was deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures, such as Bill Clinton, who traveled on his plane 26 times. Larry Summers, who, and you just heard Joan talk about this, just resigned from many boards, including Harvard. Sleazebag political activist Reid Hoffman, minority leader Hakeem Jeffries, and on it goes. He also talks about Stacey Plaskett and many more. The president continuing on, perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed, because he says, I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. And so we've got now 30 days, and we'll continue to watch all of this fallout. And so a couple of things. And I'm hearing, I don't know what I'm hearing, but you got something really loud in there, brother, and it's bleeding through the headphones. So Scott Jennings was on CNN. I want to play this real quick, because what do the Democrats do? When the Democrats are in trouble, they start calling the race card. And that is exactly what happened on CNN. Listen to this.
Scott, you keep saying, well, he didn't do anything. There's no indication of criminality. If that's true, he should be elated that we're putting these things out.
If that's true, it is true. Can you name any evidence?
I would like to see the evidence. What I'm saying is...
You think after 10 years of public life, you wouldn't know it already?
No, I don't. No, that's exactly the point.
Oh, my goodness.
Scott,
this is an IQ test. Don't fail it. Come on, man.
I love what he said. If this were an IQ test, you would fail it. Come on, man. So a couple of things just real quick. And then because of that, because Scott Jennings was speaking to a black man, another black man on the panel over there on CNN, is like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe you said that to a black man. Okay. Remember who Epstein donated to? Bill and Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer. Hakeem Jeffries came sniffing around looking for money after we knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a groomer and a pedo. So you've got Hakeem Jeffries. He is denying that he remembers any such email. But you've got all these big Democrat donors involved as well. I just read you the post from Donald Trump. So you've got all of these big Democrat names. And I think part of what's going to happen here with this release is it's going to get very uncomfortable for some people on the left. And a lot of these names we already know. They've been bandied around for years. But I think that for the Republicans, they're thinking, okay, you know what? These Democrats have been accusing us for a long time now about being, protectors of pedophiles and all of this. So let's go ahead and just release everything. And let's also investigate Epstein's ties to Democrats, which is part of what Donald Trump is wanting to do. And that is part of the story. So Trump wants all of these released because he knows there isn't anything incriminating on him. What basically the president wants to do is move past the distraction. He wants these released. But to his point, Scott Jennings' point, wouldn't we know something about these files after 10 years of public life? Of course. Against the Clintons? Donald Trump running against Hillary Clinton, and you don't think that that information would be out there? I mean, I know that we've all been saying this, so I'm not going to, live on this comment for the next 20 minutes. I just think it's obvious that Scott Jennings is right. But then here comes the whole race-baiting argument, because, again, I believe the Democrats know that they're dead in the water on this one.
10 years Donald Trump has been in public life.
That's embarrassing.
Scott, it is an IQ test. I mean, for 10 years, we haven't heard any names. So you really think that no one's involved?
No, obviously. Larry Summers was involved. Stacey Plaskett was involved. There's all kinds of people involved with Jeffrey Epstein.
If someone was...
Just real quick, I just want to bring it back to something that just happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test.
Well, can I ask a question? Why is he making this about race or color of skin? It had nothing to do, and I love all the drama, right? Guy's name is Joshua Doss. And Scott Jennings said if this were an IQ test, you'd fail. Well, it has nothing to do with the color of his skin. It has everything to do with the conversation about Epstein. So to me, I think that you've got Scott Jennings, who is right, and now the panelists here on CNN, they have nowhere to go. So, of course, they start talking about how Scott Jennings is questioning this black man's intelligence. Had nothing to do with that.
That just happened. I feel like I just heard Scott call into question this black man's intelligence with the IQ test
That's what you heard.
I feel like I heard that. And so I just
You're
want to say
ridiculous.
something. This is what it sounded like.
You want to make it
And
racial?
so-
Go ahead, but it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think that
By the way, we know each
there
other
is
and we're friends. I know this man. He's a smart guy, and we're having a debate. We're having a debate. Don't make it into so we don't even know each other, but we do.
This actually relates back to the topic that we're having, Scott. There is a you're sitting here with so much confidence without seeing all of the documents that Donald Trump is innocent. There is a presumption of guilt that a black man walks around the United States with, that I have been watching Donald Trump navigate this situation with the presumption of innocence that is never afforded to us.
So, of course, now, number one, apples and oranges. Number two, this guy is trying to make it racial to try to, I think, try to neuter Scott Jennings. And Jennings shouldn't allow him to do it.
I guess he missed where that black Chicago man had been arrested 49 times and then lit a woman on fire on the subway yesterday. I guess that...
Did that happen yesterday?
Yeah.
A woman got lit on fire in
He'd
Chicago?
been arrested 49 times, and he lit a woman on fire on the subway. But, you know, because of that presumption of guilt, Dan, that they carry around with them.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I actually agree. Let's see the evidence. But I think that Jennings, he gets beaten down with all of the constant race baiting because now, again, I believe that we're talking about apples and oranges. And so for this guy to, and then again, this guy's name is Joshua Doss, I don't think there's anything wrong, obviously, with seeing the evidence. But I think part of what's going on is the Democrats, and we just played that audio from Jasmine Crockett earlier, where she was talking about Lee Zeldin getting a donation from Jeffrey Epstein. Big accusation, only to turn out it wasn't that Jeffrey Epstein. And so this is what the Democrats are doing and are going to do. It's all about these vague accusations or these blatant lies as they try to politicize this whole conversation regarding Jeffrey Epstein. To Scott Jennings' point, nobody cared until they tried to make it into a thing against Donald Trump.
Right? This is the same guy that is trailing 29 rape allegations. And we have videos of him saying things like, grab him by the you-know-what. Just the very fact that he's connected to the country's most egregious pedophile, enough. That fact alone is enough for us to ask questions about if it's a disqualifying factor for leadership. So I just don't know why you're so fervent right now.
Is it disqualifying factor for leadership? Well, Kamala Harris is going to be running for president next year. So why don't we ask this guy? Because she didn't, I don't remember, did anybody remember Kamala Harris calling out Joe Biden for not, in the Joe Biden DOJ? Was there any calling out regarding the Epstein files when Kamala was vice president? No? Okay. So is it, I would say to this Joshua Doss, is it a disqualifying factor? Because your candidate, who shares your skin color, by the way, not that that matters, but okay, so that's my question. Because if Kamala Harris didn't call for the releasing of the Epstein files by the Biden DOJ, well, then, according to this guy who's a Democrat, this is a disqualifying factor, right?
Saying that I know for a fact he has nothing. Can we see the files and make that decision?
Yeah, and listen, I'm all for seeing the files. I am all for seeing the files. But here's the question. When we already know that the Democrats are trying to, through very hardcore innuendo and obfuscation, they're trying to tie Donald Trump to these files. They're going to, of course, try to continue that either through that innuendo and obfuscation or absolute blatant lies like Jasmine Crockett did yesterday regarding Lee Zeldin and that donation from Jeffrey Epstein, a doctor, Jeffrey Epstein, not the Jeffrey Epstein. And she knew it, and she lied. 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
Stop.
6:16 as far as your weather, cloudy and not as warm today. A couple of showers in the afternoon as well. High of 65 and foggy, apparently. Is it still foggy out there? It's still dark.
Well, the dense fog advisory goes on till 9 o'clock, so
right.
Presumably, yeah.
All right, very good. By the way, the answer, Scott Jennings, just to put a final wrap on this, the whole Epstein files, 30 days. Scott Jennings beaten down by all of the ludicrous accusations of racism and the Democrats really trying twisted pretzel logic to say that their plight as, and I'm just going to air quote this because I don't want to get into all of this, but their plight is black men in America, trying to tie that to Donald Trump and, this air of innocence or whatever it is that is around him. The other thing that I would say is that the Democrats have not given Donald Trump an air of innocence or the presumption or assumption of innocence. They've been attacking him since day one. Well, since when they realized they could politicize this, because they had nothing to say again during the Joe Biden administration, nothing at all. It was just nothing but, oh yeah, that's just a Republican conspiracy theory. Anyway, this is how Scott Jennings ended.
Scott?
Look, here's what I think. It's been going on for 10 years.
Yep.
If there was a shred of anything to know about Donald Trump, we would already know it. What do we know? We know. I'm answering your question.
Evidence is not the evidence of absence.
We know that Donald Trump knew Jeffrey Epstein, and we know that he excommunicated him from Mar-a-Lago and his life. We also know that after Epstein was convicted, that powerful Democrats continued to stay in touch with Jeffrey Epstein. This is not a story about Trump. It is a story about powerful men. Many of them are in the Democratic Party. We're going to find that out. You can't wash away the politics.
We got to hit pause on this conversation.
Republican versus Democrat.
That's because every Democrat goes on TV and accuses Trump of having done something.
And there you go. You know, my favorite part of airing those clips is when everybody just starts screeching at each other. People watch it. And so I love how they're like, oh, well, the Republicans are the ones that are politicizing this. No, that would be the Democrats.
I mean, Doss, he gets caught in a web of, well, I don't have the facts to dispute what Scott Jennings is saying, so I'm going to make this about race and play the victim card.
Right.
That's all they have.
Well, and the thing is, the assumption is, and it's the wrong form for this kind of a conversation if I'm Scott Jennings, because they're bringing this up because they're trying to, again, neuter any response that Scott Jennings could have by refuting what this Joshua Doss has to say, or certainly trying to connect it to the perception or the presumption of innocence that Donald Trump supposedly has, which in this country you are presumed innocent and you have to have your day in court and all that kind of stuff. And Donald Trump, the Democrats have presumed that he was innocent, presumed that he was guilty for a long time. They've basically been accusing him of the most god-awful things. And so Trump is like, okay, so what's going to happen is they've had access to these files for how long? So they could easily, the Democrats could easily slip something in there to make it look like he is, guilty of doing something untoward with these girls. And so I think that ultimately, at the end of the day, the best we can do is release all of these files. That's what Donald Trump is trying to do. That's what the House voted to do. That's what the Senate voted to do as well. Trump signed it. Now we got 30 days. The question is this. Will all the files be released? And it sounds like this is going to be a steadfast no. All of the files will not be released. We're going to talk about that straight ahead. 615-737-9986. 615-737-WWTN. Jones got the news at 6:30, Joan.
Yeah, Metro Police are searching for a pregnant Nashville woman who has gone missing after she took an Uber ride. That story is coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here for my friends at the Glock Store, talking about my friends at the Glock Store and their first annual Black Friday and Super Saturday sale. You know what they figured out at the Glock Store? They figured out that they've got way too many specials and way too many giveaways just for one day of Black Friday. So now they have extended Black Friday into a Super Saturday sale. Now, virtually everything at the Glock Store is going to be on sale, including a special deal on a special Glock at a price too low to mention on the radio. As a matter of fact, there's so many great deals. Here is what I recommend. First, do what I always do. Check out the great deals in the Black Friday category at glockstore.com. Then just make a list of what you'd like. Finally, browse the store while the staff gets your order together. Oh, and while you're waiting, you might just win one of the incredibly high-dollar raffles going on all day long at the Glock store. Now, this way, you're not going to forget anything. This is a great deal going on. It is a sale-a-palooza at the Glock store, Black Friday and Saturday as well. You're not going to be distracted during all the giveaways, and you can relax and enjoy a great meal from Uncle Bud's food truck as well. Yep, Donaldson's favorite fried chicken and catfish restaurant has a brand new food truck, and they're going to be out first and foremost at the Glock store event on Friday and Saturday. You can be one of the first to try it out. So check them out. It's Glock Store's Black Friday and Super Saturday sale. Details online, glockstore.com, shoot270.com. .623 Nashville's Morning News. This November, Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They are serving up big savings and big gratitudes. One of my favorite specials in a long time. If you've got a clogged drain, don't wait. Get their $93 or free main line opening special. That's right. Only $93. Offer is valid for single-family homes only. Now, here's the deal. It's only $93. If they can't figure out what's actually clogging the drain, then that service is free. That is huge, and only from Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. So remember, if you've got a clogged drain, don't wait. $93 or free mainline opening special. You've got to do that, by the way, this time of year. $93 or it is free. Call them 615-775-7833. Visit them online, busybhvac.com. By the way, Busy Bee is always looking out for our community, and they are doing a coat drive this year for needy families. So they are collecting your used coats. So they like to say gently used coats in both Lebanon and Mount Juliet. So just bring your old coats. They're going to be on site collecting your coats to Seven Cedars Butcher Block on the Lebanon Square on Tuesday the 25th. From 3 to 6, again, that is in Lebanon. So bring your old coats to Seven Cedars Butcher Block on Lebanon Square, Tuesday the 25th, from 3 to 6, or the parking lot of the Mount Juliet Chamber of Commerce from 2 to 4 on Sunday, November 30th. By the way, the coats collected in Lebanon, that's going to serve the needy families in Lebanon, and the same for Mount Juliet. The coats collected in MJ go to needy Mount Juliet families. This is great. Always love how Busy Bee is looking out for the community. Find them online, busybhvac.com. 628, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Sam had brought up in the context of this discussion regarding this CNN panel where this, I don't know who this guy is, this commentator on CNN said that, Donald Trump has this, air, this presumption of innocence, but, black men across the country, we've all got this constant presumption of guilt. And so Sam brought up this Lawrence Reed, 49 total arrests in Chicago, 10 felonies, black man. And apparently he lit a woman on fire earlier this week. And so the question is, all right, if that's the case, if there's this presumption of guilt, as this guy Joshua Doss, I think, was talking about on CNN, if there's this presumption of guilt, then why wasn't Lawrence Reed in prison as opposed to out letting people on fire? Dude, 10 felonies and 49 total arrests.
And in 2020, had a charge dismissed against him for starting a fire.
All right, so, listen, you can say what you want, but the reality is that all across America, there are soft-on-crime district attorneys who are letting people just like Lawrence Reed off time and time and time and time again, sadly, to fatal and heartbreaking results. It is 6:30 on WTN.
Good morning. It's now 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A search underway right now for a pregnant Nashville woman who went missing after taking an Uber ride to a Nashville apartment complex. 37-year-old Tiffany Moore hasn't been seen since Tuesday. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett.
Her husband told police his wife was dropped off at the Twin Oaks Drive apartment complex on Tuesday. Investigators searched the complex. They weren't able to find her. Her phone was last pinged to a home on Cross Creek Road, but she was not there.
Her husband also told police he knocked on the door of an apartment where that Uber dropped her off, and he said he heard noises coming from inside the apartment, but no one answered the door. The Labor Department running behind on its data releases because of the 43-day government shutdown.
The Labor Department is releasing the employment numbers for September, and they're expected to show that about 50,000 positions were added to the economy. Under normal circumstances, the October jobs report would be coming out right now, but because data couldn't be collected during the shutdown, the White House says that full report won't be released at all.
ABC's Jim Ryan. We're learning more about a growing dispute over the estate of Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's daughter is suing the handlers of her father's multi-billion-dollar estate. In court documents, Paris Jackson accuses John Branca and John McClane of abusing their roles as executors of the estate, claiming the men paid themselves nearly $150 million over the course of 12 years, more than $10 million in 2021 alone. Paris claims that's more than double what any member of the Jackson family received.
ABC's Maggie Ruley there. The men claim that Jackson's estate was already $500 million in debt when he died. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. Whether you are 20, 40, or 60 years old, Vision for Life has the right procedure to help you see clearly without glasses or contacts. Now, if you're tired of dealing with blurry vision, Dr. Horn at Vision for Life is the name to know in Nashville. Now, Dr. Horn has helped thousands of people finally break free from glasses and contacts. I'm one of them. Now, what makes Vision for Life different is that your treatment is tailored just for you. There is no cookie-cutter approach, just smart, personalized care using the most advanced technology available. So no matter your age or your eye condition, Vision for Life is the destination for vision correction, not only in Nashville, but in Tennessee as well. Schedule your consultation today and let Dr. Horn create a custom vision plan built around your lifestyle and your vision goals. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. If you're thinking about vision correction surgery, go with my friends at Vision for Life. 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com.
Still working that crash in the Gulch this morning. It's at Broadway near 14th Avenue North. And a dense fog advisory throughout the region this morning, all the way through 9 o'clock. Stefano tells us that visibility is down to less than a quarter of a mile in some spots. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.636 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 615-737-9986. Joan, I've got a favor I'd like to ask of the listening audience.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
Because I can't possibly do my own homework. Chris and I are going to be recording our podcast today. And one of the things that we want to do is review some of the best, juiciest clips that we've had this year. And so, you know, because you've got things that the ladies on The View say, or Jasmine Crockett, or Aftyn Behn. And so I'm racking my, because I've only got 5. I can only do 5.
Oh, you can only present 5. And Chris has 5?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of, you know, what are the best ones. Folks, if you can utilize your recollection better than me, remember some of the best ones that we've had this year so far, 2025? Because there's been a lot of good ones from the Democrats as they continue to unravel in front of our eyes. So do you have, maybe it's Jasmine Crockett, maybe it's AOC, maybe it is Aftyn Behn, maybe it is Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries, I mean, Brandon Johnson. Let's go Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago. We could talk about J.B. Pritzker. We could talk about any of these folks. So if you have a favorite that you just specifically remember, send them to the text line between now and 9. 615-737-9986. Chuck Schumer. Now, one of the questions I asked yesterday, what is the Democrats' next move, right? Because you know that they got absolutely hammered in the shutdown. Now they're trying to talk about the Epstein files. That was their next move. President Trump, the Senate, the House of Representatives, everybody is saying, you know what? Just release it already. Okay. So that's what Donald Trump is doing. Now, this is Chuck Schumer from yesterday. Listen close.
We got to make sure we get all of the Epstein files, all. They can't around with this. And we are going to be pursuing them relentlessly to get everything. Because I don't trust this administration. I don't trust Bondi. I don't trust Kash Patel. I don't trust the president. And they could screw around with this.
So Chuck Schumer talking tough. So yesterday,
he shouldn't be using trashy language like that at his age.
No, he shouldn't.
Just makes him seem slimier than he already is.
How could Chuck Schumer really seem more slimy? I mean, let's be honest. And you know what I would like to know?
Yeah.
As Schumer is, demanding to know all of the Epstein files and all that, can we see the check that he wrote to Chuck Schumer's campaign? And how much that was? Like, you'll notice Schumer's not saying anything about that. Nothing about the Clintons.
Right.
And Epstein donating to the Clintons and so forth. I think the Epstein files, they're going to reflect poorly on the Democrats. So Schumer's play is to say, well, the Republicans didn't release all of the files. That's what's coming up next. All the files that had to do with Donald Trump. So what that sounds like to me is that this is going to be the Democrats' next play, is the Democrats are going to say that Trump didn't release all the files. Well, there are some loopholes that have now been included in the releasing of the Epstein files. So Stacey Plaskett, just real quick, let me play this real quick. Stacey Plaskett, remember her? She is the congresswoman who was getting, play-by-play questions in real time from Jeffrey Epstein after we knew that he was a pedo and a groomer and all of these other things, getting ready to question Michael Cohen. So this is what she said to answer those, and it's not an accusation. It really did happen.
I got a text from Jeffrey Epstein, who at the time was my constituent. You want to talk about text?
Hey, can I ask a question? Do all of her constituents have her cell phone?
I'm thinking it's probably the number she guards the most closely from her constituents.
Yes, especially now. So because that's what they're trying to say. Jeffrey Epstein was a constituent. That's all he was. He was a constituent. Okay, so Stacey Plaskett, how many of your constituents have your cell phone number?
It's also pretty bold to admit that after he was on the sex offender registry and a convicted felon.
Right.
You want to talk about texting felons? How often do you text President Donald J. Trump?
Oh, there you go. Listen to the crowd behind her.
That's the individual we should be concerned about.
That's the individual we should be concerned about. Mm-hmm. That's what they all say.
Why do the U.S. Virgin Islands have a congressperson?
It kind of sounds like they really don't.
They have a delegate, which is
she's a non-voter.
She can't vote,
Yeah.
but she can represent her area. Same thing for the mayor of, not for the mayor, for there's a Washington D.C. delegate, Eleanor Holmes Norton.
Do we like her?
Holmes. No, we don't.
Okay.
Oh, but at least her position makes sense.
Sort of. She also can't vote. She just brings up a lot of issues.
Well, if the Democrats get their way, they'll make D.C. a state. So
That's what they want to do.
that is what they want to do.
Mhm.
This is from the Washington Examiner. The Justice Department will release additional files from its investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein within 30 days. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying on Wednesday, while signaling that an active federal inquiry in New York and the need to shield victims could mean the public never sees a complete record. So this is where it's gone. Because remember, Trump came out and he said, all right, I want the Department of Justice to look at the connection between Jeffrey Epstein and all these Democrats, right? That was Donald Trump a few days ago. So now there is another investigation going on. And so that means that it essentially gives the Department of Justice permission to hold back some of those files. The story continues on. The Justice Department will release additional files from its investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein within 30 days. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying Wednesday, while signaling that an active federal inquiry in New York and the need to shield victims could mean the public never sees a complete record. I'm going to play this audio from Pam Bondi. Did you see this yesterday, Joan?
Yeah.
It was, it was laughable.
New investigation by the Southern District of New York U.S. Attorney prevent the department from releasing all of the remaining files.
So we have released over 33,000 Epstein documents to the Hill, and we'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency.
So she must have said, I don't know if you caught this, Joan.
That we will follow the law.
Follow the law and provide maximum transparency. She must have said that like 15 times.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh.
It was like, oh my gosh, stop it already. We got it. Follow the law and provide transparency. So when she says follow the law, well, she's talking about the legislation or resolution, whatever it was, that Donald Trump has signed and the House and the Senate have passed to release the Epstein files in 30 days. But the problem is that the Trump administration did give some, I don't know if you want to call them loopholes, but some guardrails where if this would interfere with a current investigation, then you can't release it or it's got to be heavily redacted. So now you've got all the folks out there saying, aha, there are loopholes. We knew we wouldn't get all of the documents, right? That's what's going on. And Pam Bondi sure as heck wasn't helping. 6:45, time to check the roads on WTN. 6:45 on Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather goes for today, cloudy and not as warm. A couple of showers in the afternoon. High of 65, going to feel like 64. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. I guess the fog is the fog is thick out in some areas. So yeah, definitely some extra time. And when you encounter fog, low beams, right?
Correct.
There you go. Thank you. Follow the law and provide transparency is what we're hearing.
Also, we will always encourage all victims to come forward.
Yep.
What are the next steps, Madam Attorney General, for the DOJ regarding what we assume President Trump will sign into law with the Epstein files? Is this going to be on the Justice Department website? What are you doing here over the next 30 days, as we understand it?
So I want to make sure you got this. So they're asking a very specific question. What exactly is it you're going to be doing for the next 30 days?
We will continue to follow the law with maximum transparency.
She just, it's the same thing. Do you know what it felt like? It felt like, remember when we would joke around about cringe Jean-Pierre or circle back Jen Psaki, where they were just, they have that one sentence that they would continue to say over and over again. So when Pam Bondi says we're going to follow the law and provide the maximum amount of transparency, well, the law allows for these loopholes, as I just explained.
While protecting victims.
Yeah. When you say follow the law, Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files by 30 days?
We will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
I wonder if we played take a drink and get drunk, I think you'd be drunk pretty
Trashed.
quick.
Yeah.
So there is new information, apparently. She talked about how there's new information. And because of that new information, that there will be some material, perhaps, that will not be released.
To that. Madam Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files would not release mentioned the fact that the review of the documents and the evidence did not suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Maximum transparency under the law. So there's a line in this order. This is from the Washington Examiner. The legislation passed on Tuesday says records can be withheld if they would jeopardize an active federal investigation. The legislation passed on Tuesday says records can be withheld if they would jeopardize an active federal investigation. The Trump administration, they say, may also withhold records that identify victims or include images of child sexual abuse, of course. The Trump administration may also withhold records that identify victims or include images of child sexual abuse, of course. The Justice Department has already said the files it withheld contained images of victims and videos of illegal child sex abuse. The Justice Department has already said the files it withheld contained images of victims and so forth. So, yeah, this is something that for the Republicans, this is going to be an attack point by the Democrats because Trump has said, okay, so I want the Department of Justice to look into their connections to the Democrats. Therefore, that opens up another line of investigation, which means that some things are going to apparently be withheld. And there's going to be people out there that are going to say, listen, you could very easily make the argument that Donald Trump and his administration decided to call for this investigation into Epstein's connection with the Democrats so that they could then come out and say, absolutely, release everything. except what would impede a federal investigation. So I'm just telling you that's going to be part of the narrative of the left.
The issue with the new information that you just indicated, is the department seeking information perhaps from the Epstein estate because Mr. Blanche did not have that information when he interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell? What new information, and would you limit the new investigation to just those named persons that the president talked about, or is this a broad, open-ended investigation?
I would refer to the Deputy Attorney General's post that he put out on X, and we're not going to say anything else on that because now it is a pending investigation in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah, so Southern District of New York, which, by the way, that Southern District of New York, that is widely viewed by legal experts as one of the most powerful federal prosecutors' offices in the country. It has long been conferred a greater degree of independence than the nation's other 92 U.S. attorneys' offices. In other words, when an attorney from the Southern District of New York is utilized for this investigation, a guy by the name of Jay Clayton leading the probe, well, that means that they're not messing around. Jay Clayton is going to lead the probe that President Donald Trump ordered related to Epstein and the Democrats, again, out of the Southern District of New York. So, new Daily Dan poll question up. Now, real quickly, the question, how did we frame it? Because now the question is, does this leave an opening for the Democrats like Chuck Schumer to say, well, they're not releasing everything because, now they've opened up a new branch of this investigation. So that gives the Trump administration, the accusation would be that it gives the Trump administration some cover to withhold some documents. So how did we frame the question?
Do you think the new federal investigation is an attempt to cover up things from the Epstein files?
Mm-hmm.
And already polling 60% yes. The previous poll, why didn't Aftyn and Kamala make an appearance together? 58% said Kamala avoided Aftyn.
Which meant that 42% then said
Aftyn avoided Kamala.
Aftyn avoided Kamala. Okay, very good. It is 6:52 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Wake up. 6:52. Jones got the. Sorry about that, Joan. It's 6:52, and Jones got the news at 7.
Hey, guess who's coming to the White House?
Who's that?
Zoran Mamdani. Got the story coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. $6:53, Dan Mandis here. You've heard me talk about my cataract surgery at Vision for Life. And again, it has been life-changing. I didn't even realize how much my vision was holding me back until I had clear sight again. Reading small print, no problems. Driving at night, no more halos, no more blurry lights. Watching TV, working, even just being outside, the colors are so much brighter, details are sharper. I can even see in the swimming pool, and I'm more confident in everything that I do. Now, I didn't notice how much I was actually compromising before. I just thought maybe that I was getting older, maybe squinting and adjusting, avoiding things I used to enjoy. But now I feel like I've got a new lease on life, and my only regret is not doing it sooner. Now, if you're where I was and you wanted some vision correction surgery, check out my friends at Vision for Life. They are the best at what they do. And yes, they truly care. I know, because I am another satisfied customer. You can schedule your consultation today, 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020. Find them online anytime, visionforlife.com. That's visionforlife.com. $6:54, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Loan Pronto. What if you could pull up to $500,000 out of your home's equity and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Dan Mandis here, and right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all of those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off a couple of car loans as well, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed with Loan Pronto. Now, there's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. And right now, rates are at a 3-year low. So call right now at 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780, and see how much cash you can get today. LoanPronto.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 166 1781. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org. .657, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. A lot of people not happy with Pam Bondi. Where is the, just very quickly, because I'm going to move on in the next hour, but where are people, if you take the Daily Dan poll on the YouTube page, what are people saying?
64% believe the federal investigation is an attempt to cover up things from the Epstein files.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I will admit I'm not real happy. It kind of looks like the administration may have been trying to, whether or not that's what the intent was, but if Bondi is looking at the Democrats and their ties to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump has been talking about this. I say just release everything with the proper redactions. Like, drop whatever investigation you've got into the Democrats and just release everything and let's move on. But here's the thing. If there's actually some Democrats beyond the donors that we already know, I mean, we know about Hakeem Jeffries wanting to have a meal, break some bread with Jeffrey Epstein, asking him for some dirty money from Epstein. So we know about that. We know about the political contributions, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Chuck Schumer, among many others, a couple of Republicans as well. But I just think at some point you are going to have to release everything. I also don't think that everyone, there's going to be a large number of people that are simply not happy with anything that is released. It is 7 o'clock on WTN.
Good Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. President Trump has signed that Epstein bill, as we've been talking about. The files now with Attorney General Pam Bondi, who must deliver them to the public within a month.
The Justice Department now has 30 days to release the files, but there's still no guarantee every document will be made public. The bill includes exceptions, including a provision to withhold files that would jeopardize an active federal investigation or prosecution. A notable caveat given Trump just last week called for an investigation into Epstein's relationship with prominent Democrat Clinton. Attorney General Pam Bondi yesterday said she ordered that new investigation in response to new information, but she would not provide specifics.
That's ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. And an update here, too. Former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers announcing that he will now step back from his teaching role at Harvard while the university investigates his ties to Epstein. New York City's mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani is headed to D.C. He'll be meeting with President Trump in the Oval Office tomorrow, where Mamdani's spokesperson says they'll talk about public safety, economic security, and affordability. Mamdani has already blamed the president for the city's money troubles.
I want to just speak plainly to the president about what it means to actually stand up for New Yorkers and the way in which New Yorkers are struggling to afford this city. And frankly, cost of living is something that I heard time and time again from New Yorkers about why they voted for Donald Trump.
Those comments on MS Now. President Trump considers Mamdani a communist and predicts he will ruin New York City. A Montgomery County elementary school student brought an unloaded gun to school on Tuesday. Clarksville Now reporting a teacher at Moore Magnet School was tipped off about the gun. She told the school resource officer. The officer found that gun in the student's desk. The weapon was apparently brought from the student's home. Now, this report didn't say if that student was taken into custody. A massive arrest in Putnam County. Sheriff's deputies there pulling over an Econoline van last Friday morning. In it, 18 people, including 16 illegal aliens and 2 small children. The driver telling deputies he was driving the passengers from Michigan to Georgia for work, and he admitted to having marijuana in the van, which led to a probable cause search. Deputies found more than 4 pounds of marijuana. Everybody's in jail except those kids. They're in DCS custody. They'll be those who are illegal aliens will be turned over to ICE after their court proceedings. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Looks like we're headed for a nice start to Wall Street trading. The Dow futures up 291, NASDAQ futures gaining 422. The S&P futures, they are up 82 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so we have 65 southbound closed down this morning in Millersville. This closure is Louisville Highway, exit 98 through Long Hollow Pike 97. That's 65 southbound in those areas. Because of a crash, it's in the construction zone that this crash occurred this morning. We'll keep an eye on this, let you know when that road opens back up. We also have a crash in Nashville on Blackman Road, east of Trousdale Drive, and heavy volume in spots this morning. Be careful as you're traveling. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Appreciate you being here. Super text line is open at 615-737-9986. 615-737-WWTN. I want to make sure that I do cover this with the seriousness that it demands. In the 5 o'clock hour, I played this audio. I'm going to play it for the folks just jumping in here in the 7 o'clock hour because I do believe that it is important. Where if somebody is running for the 7th Congressional District, that they not actually hate the region that they're supposed to be serving. But this is audio that was dropped last night. At some point, Greg Price, he works for the GOP. I don't exactly know what he does, but he dropped this audio of Aftyn Behn. Of course, you know, she's running for the 7th. We are in the middle of early voting right now. And apparently back in I guess this was in 2019, she was recorded. I don't know if this is on a podcast. I don't know if this is during some sort of a secretly recorded conversation. But this is Aftyn Behn talking about how she hates Nashville.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it.
So she hates
all
the things that make Nashville great. And listen, it's not the only, those aren't the only things that make Nashville great, but here's the thing. Like literally, that is part of her district. I grokked it. So if you're standing in front of Tootsie's, All Red, Jason Aldean's Bar, or any of the classic honky tonks on Lower Broadway, you are in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. And she purports to hate it. Can you hate something and fairly represent it at the same time? I don't think so. I mean, let's be honest. Lower Broadway and all of the bars and all that kind of stuff, that is a huge job provider in Nashville. That is a huge place for people to visit. And for her to say that she hates it, she's hating a major engine of Tennessee's economy. And Nashville's economy.
Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts. And they walk out and they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad.
They're so loud.
So that is Aftyn Behn. And again, I don't know if this is secretly recorded or what it is. I'm trying to find out some context. But there is no context that makes that good. Because if you're having somebody that hates part of what she represents, well, then how do you know that she's going to be fair when she is representing, that part of Tennessee's 7th Congressional District? Because if she hates it, then how can you trust that what she's going to decide is going to be best for that particular area? And I don't know why you would. I know that there's a lot of people that would say, well, it's kind of, if you're local, I think this is true. Joan, is this true? Sam, is this true? So if you're a local, it's kind of hip to say, well, I hate Nashville, and I hate the country bars, and I hate the pedal taverns and all that. Is that kind of a hip thing to say if you are a native Tennessean?
Not hate.
Yeah, I don't think.
Not the word hate, but
Like, is she talking like a native Tennessean? She's from Knoxville. Is that something that you can excuse as a native Tennessean saying?
I feel like the only thing in there that would be excusable would be the bachelorette parties because of how excessive certain things, aspects of it can be.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the only excusable. But country music and the bars, the things that generate taxable
Revenue.
income and revenue in this town. Now, luckily, I've pulled up the official map.
Okay.
So luckily, that area of Broadway does not fall in the district, but the portion of Davidson County that does, according to the comptroller's office, pretty much spans from the border of Cheatham and Davidson to
It's
the
like right
bottom
there.
border of Robertson. And so it's basically west Davidson County is in that 7th congressional district, which would still influence Broadway and the happenings and everything, of course.
So one of the things that she's going to have to answer for is, okay, so do you really hate Nashville and country music and the bars and all of these revenue generators? I'm going to play this one more time.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city, I hate the bachelorettes, I hate the pedal taverns, I hate country music, I hate all of the things that make Nashville apparently an it city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad.
They're so loud.
Judgy much? So I don't know.
Well, she's never been a bachelorette, so.
One of the things that I would ask is, she's from Knoxville. So if she doesn't like Nashville, she can go back to Knoxville if she so chooses. But I hope somebody asks her about this audio. She won't come on this show, but I'd love to talk to her about it. But I guess Matt's been trying to get her on too. She just, once she started running for office and she had some not so great interviews with Matt Murphy, I think they realized that, it's probably best to, for Aftyn Behn to stay off the conservative station where, they're going to ask her actual relevant questions and she won't have the answers. And instead she'll just, portray herself as a really cute socialist, which is basically what happened. So we'll have to see if this is, the thing is, I think that the people who are going to vote for Aftyn Behn, I think that they don't care. Like, they literally don't care about anything. Policies or some of the things that she has said, some of the things that she have done. People just don't care. They are voting strictly down party line. And so then I was trying to figure out what exactly has Aftyn Behn actually done for a living. I want to compare and contrast Aftyn Behn with Matt Van Epps. So early voting is in the 7th going on right now. Okay, so you look at her resume, and she's been a community organizer for years. You look at all of this. She grew up in Knoxville. She's been an activist all her life as well. She was a community organizer, campaign organizer for political organizations, and campaign director for another political organization. So I understand that people say that she's a social worker. My question would be, and maybe she has, I just don't see any indication of it anywhere where she actually, worked down in the trenches as a social worker. And I hope that she has. But my question would be, okay, so have you ever been someone who has tried to either start a business, run a business, give people jobs, create jobs? You know what it's like to, meet a bottom line, these kinds of things. And I mean, Matt Van Epps, obviously we all know about, his campaign has been a good one where they point out the fact that he graduated from West Point. He's a helicopter pilot in the military, working within Governor Lee's administration as well. So that is a man, I'm just going to say, who is accomplished. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know what Aftyn Behn has necessarily accomplished.
So I grokked her resume, and I by the way, found a better congressional map, and downtown is included in the 7th. Okay. So she's bad-mouthing the very district that she wants to represent.
Okay.
But according to Grok, her resume starts at the Tennessee Justice Center, nonprofit, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, as a consultant. That was when she went to Switzerland for that. How fancy. Indivisible, senior regional organizer for Kentucky and Tennessee, supporting grassroots power building with a focus on rural Appalachia and the South.
Okay.
It's never been, when I hear social worker, I think you worked for DCS or you worked for the State Department.
You go into
the worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst. You're dealing with people who are, they've got kids, they don't have the money to pay the rent, those kinds of social worker things. And I don't know if she's actually done that. I don't know if she's ever had just a regular 9-to-5 job.
According to what Grok can pull, it's all been highfalutin nonprofits.
Highfalutin nonprofits. All right. It is
Isn't that the Obama way? I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. No, Joan, you're right. There's a lot of correlations between Obama, who, of course, he was a senator. But, I mean, you have a lot of correlations with Obama. His resume, he was a community organizer.
That's it. That's all he did.
And he's the one that screwed up health care for everybody. All right, 7:15, time to check the roads on WTN. $7:16, as far as your weather for today, it's going to be a nice day, cloudy, not as warm. A couple of showers in the afternoon, a high of 65 degrees. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News. People on the YouTube chat are chiming in, screaming about Aftyn Behn, which, by the way, if you missed earlier in the program, Matt Murphy left me an inflatable turkey here in the studio. So I walk in, the entire studio is dark with the exception of this turkey. An inflatable turkey. So if you, hopefully you can see it on Super Talk TV. And part of me wants to unplug the turkey, but I'm not exactly sure if I should. I have, though, not so affectionately named it Aftyn. Is that okay, naming it Aftyn? I don't know what Murphy Show apparently probably has his own name for it.
I'd like to put a sticker on it that says
Aftyn?
Aftyn.
Okay.
I can prepare that.
Could you,
Yeah,
Joan?
I could
That'd
do
be
that,
great.
sure, yeah.
People on the super text line, also on the YouTube chat, saying that Aftyn Behn was never actually a social worker.
Yeah, Cindy Spence on the YouTube chat. Miss Cindy, thank you for that. I'm assuming got some insider baseball there that, nonprofit work doesn't mean you're a social worker.
No. Nonprofit work means, oftentimes what nonprofit, there's two types of nonprofit workers. There are people that are truly doing it because they want to help people. And then there's others who view nonprofit work as a way to enrich themselves, i.e. the Clinton Foundation. And they're also political activists. Because, remember some of these NGOs, you can call those nonprofit, of course, but they get all kinds of grants and funding. And oftentimes that money ends up either right back into the pockets of the Democrats, or it's utilized to bring in a whole bunch of illegal aliens into a community. So, the world of nonprofit, I know that, there is a time, I guess, there is a time in this country where you looked at the world of nonprofit and wasn't it like, oh, nonprofit, you're giving back to the community. The world of nonprofit is not that anymore. Maybe some organizations and maybe some people, but by and large, nonprofits these days and non-governmental organizations and that whole world, a lot of this stuff is just a scam, just an absolute scam.
I was going to say when the internet adapted to the speed of finding facts, they were quickly exposed for skimming off the top in the majority of nonprofits throughout America.
Yeah, there you go. All right, let's see here. TB says, I think that Murphy Show named the turkey Huckleberry. I don't know why. Maybe is that a literature reference? I don't know.
Huckleberry, like Huckleberry Finn?
I don't know. But apparently this turkey was a big deal on the Murphy Show yesterday. And I can see why. Can I be honest with you? I actually like it in here. It's not as lonely in here. Because, you folks, if you don't know, if you're listening on the radio, I'm just in a box. And Sam's over there across the glass, and Joan is two plates of glass away. And so, the turkey makes me feel a little not as alone here in the air chair. It does get lonely. That's a chint. That's a hint, Joan. You got to talk to me more. That's your gent. All right, it is 7:20 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7, WTN, and people are also saying that that he named the turkey Dan. I know for a fact he did not name the turkey Dan. People want to see the note that came along with it. By the way, Dan, your 5 a.m. guest, got here early, which is the note that Murphy Show left me. 7:20. Time to. Did we do traffic? We did traffic, right?
We did traffic, yeah. But just, you know what, let's one more time just remind everybody the 65 southbound is closed off this morning in Millersville, Louisville Highway to Long Hollow Pike. There's a crash in the midst of that.
All right. It is 7:20 on Nashville's Morning News. Joan, what do we have coming up for news at 7:30?
Yeah, it looks like Tennessee has just joined a settlement with a property management company that's accused of artificially spiking rent prices in the city of Nashville. We'll have details on that coming up here and why the criminal case against FBI Director James Comey may have just deflated. We've got those stories coming up at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here for my friends at DT McCall's. You know, in my garage, I have a brand new refrigerator courtesy of my friends at DT McCall's. When we realized that we needed a fridge down in the garage, first thing we did, and it's the first thing I tell you folks to do, go to dtmccalls.com and check for yourself what kind of great deals they have. I did find a great deal on a refrigerator, and I always find great deals when I need something at dtmccalls.com. You can check them out online or in store. I've been telling you for years about DT McCall's. They've been helping people out for, count them, 4 generations. And if you need something, they've got it. Indoor furniture, if you've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's. If you need an appliance, a washer, dryer, refrigerator, they've always got those specials going on to save you money. Again, do what I did. Go to the front page of their website, dtmccalls.com. They've got great prices on all the best brands of appliances, like washer and dryer sets, dishwashers, and refrigerators, and a whole lot more. This is, I think, the 3rd or 4th thing that I've bought from DT McCall's. I am a loyal customer because this is such a great company. They've been at it for over 100 years with a focus on customer service. And if you buy it, they will deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. That's right. 5 locations all across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. 727 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Do you know what's really interesting? Is Michelle Obama, is she trying to be winner of the Victim Olympics? Because every time you turn around, she's complaining and moaning about something. Have you noticed that? So now she is complaining that it was confining being the first lady. Listen to this.
That little 8-year stint as first lady tends to confine, to be a bit confining, right? Because, that the role, the job was not to just represent me, but to represent the nation. And as the first Black family,
there it is,
in that house, just like, Black folks feel in all the first positions that we're we're carrying the torch, we're lighting the way, which means that we've got to do it really, really well. So,
and one of the things, and there's a sound bite that I don't even know if I played it the other day, but where she was complaining about how, I did play this, where she was complaining about how there are all of these expectations placed upon them, and they were worried about meeting all of those expectations, especially because of the fact that there is so much made about the fact that they were Black. And so when I heard that, and when I hear this, I don't know about you, but there are times when I hear Michelle Obama talk about her experiences in the White House, and oftentimes there's absolutely no gratitude. Have you noticed that?
Oh, there is none.
It's all just a bunch of bitterness. And it's like, my goodness, the places you got to go, the flying on Air Force One, the traveling, the state dinners, and the hobnobbing with really important people. I'm sorry, Michelle Obama, but you know darn right well you enjoyed that. And there's probably some negatives to the job, but the reality is that it is really kind of, hip to say, to kind of sort of distance yourself from what you're known for. And Michelle Obama, it was such a burden to be the first lady. The reality is she absolutely loved it. And otherwise, if she hated being in the public eye, then how come every time I turn around, she's in the public eye? She could very easily go off and do whatever it is that she wants to do, and she can hide from the public if she so chose. But she's all over the place doing podcasts and everything else. And so I'm not buying this whole, I was in the White House and it was so confining and I didn't like it. And then, of course, she weaves in the Victim Olympics with being Black and the whole thing. And it's like, Michelle Obama, just enough. It is 7:30 on WTN.
Good morning now, 7:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Tennessee has just joined a settlement with property management company Greystar, which is accused of artificially increasing rent prices by using what's called algorithmic pricing. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett.
Greystar shared supply and pricing data with their competitors through the RealPage software. Tennessee's Attorney General Jonathan Scrimetti says this caused rent prices and hikes there that did not align with the market and reduce competition, too.
Greystar manages more than 6,000 rental units in the state of Tennessee. The criminal case against former FBI Director James Comey may be on some rocky ground. He's been charged with making a false statement and obstructing Congress. But at a court hearing yesterday, the way the prosecutor, Lindsay Halligan, secured the indictment against him was highly scrutinized by the judge.
The judge ended up putting Halligan on the spot. She has never tried a criminal case before. And she admitted that she never showed the full grand jury the final version of the indictment before it was signed by the foreperson. And that is highly irregular. The disclosure shocked the courtroom into silence, and almost immediately his attorney called for the entire case to be thrown out.
ABC's Aaron Katursky. CNN says that some may consider it a clerical error that could be fixed. Others see it as a possibility that it could be the fatal flaw in this case. Brooks and Dunn named Vocal Duo of the Year for the 16th time at the 59th Annual CMA Awards last night here in Nashville. That win brought their total number of CMA awards to 20, and that's more than any other artist in the show's history.
I heard earlier tonight, y'all ever get sick of this? Oh, hell no, man. This is too good. Thank you very much.
Cody Johnson named Male Vocalist of the Year. Lainey Wilson took home the Female Award. She also won Entertainer of the Year. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Appreciate it. 732, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Jewelry. Listen, if you've got a special occasion coming up, you need a special gift, Brentwood Jewelry is my place to go. Holidays are coming up. So, guys, for the lady in your life, necklaces, bracelets, rings, and earrings. And for the guys, you got your money clips, you got your cufflinks. They've got watches for everyone and every budget. Now, if you've got a family heirloom, this is what I especially like about Brentwood Jewelry. You got a family heirloom. Maybe it's an old watch that was your dad's or your mom's. Maybe you need to repair a ring. Maybe you want to reset the diamond. Brentwood Jewelry, they can do all of that for you. They've got great merchandise and terrific prices for every budget, which is especially helpful heading into the holidays. This is a family-owned business. They've been in Middle Tennessee for over 50 years. Brentwood Jewelry is the official jewelry store of my house, and they are here to help you. 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Exceptional style, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. BrentwoodJewelry.com. Dan Mandis here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, listen, right now they got a great deal for you. The Big Daddy Trump Special. That's right. Wellness Institute of Nashville. Listen, if you have chronic back, neck, or knee pain, they can help fix you right up at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, utilizing their non-surgical spinal decompression. And right now you can get started for $12. That's right. $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if you need them, a well-explained diagnosis, and that first treatment. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Listen, you got sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated discs, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, fingers, or toes. The Wellness Institute of Nashville, they can help you. $12 gets it all started. No surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers as well. Just state-of-the-art, non-surgical spinal decompression. Call him. Tell him Dan told you to reach out for $12. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. Painisbad.com.
Okay, on 65 southbound this morning, looks like it's still maybe closed. The traffic center just dropped it from the screen. Looks like it is still closed this morning in parts of 65 heading into the Goodlettsville area. Closed down by a crash. We'll see if it pops back up on the screen here. Also, South Loop on I-40, the westbound lanes before I-65 south. You've got that's exit 210B. There's a crash, and it's in the right lane. Blackman Road in Nashville, east of Trousdale Drive. You've got a crash as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
7:37, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, Joan.
Yes.
So I know that this Nashville judge, is it a her? I think it's a her. A Nashville judge in all her infinite wisdom blocking the deployment of the National Guard in Memphis.
Memphis, yes.
Frustrating, of course. We're seeing legit results in Memphis. I mean,
Yes.
we're finding lost children. We're preventing crimes. Literally, they're saving lives. And now this judge has decided to block the deployment of the National Guard. And so one of the questions that you would ask is, okay, so what about all of the progress that has been made? And why exactly is it that the judge is deciding now, a Nashville judge deciding that she can block the National Guard in Memphis? And the funny thing is, when there is verifiable, clear evidence that the National Guard and all of these other law enforcement agencies that are working in Memphis is actually helping to clean up the streets.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
So
what were the latest numbers, Joan? Do you remember?
Let's see. It's not in this article that I'm reading here.
I mean, it was like they found like at least 100 kids.
101 children that were missing are
Yep.
now rescued from wherever it was that they had been stashed. It's a horrible story that needs to be unfolded. Like, that story needs to be told in full. Also, that it was the mayor of Memphis, a councilman, commissioners, State Representative G.A. Hardaway, Gabby Salinas, State Senator Jeff Yarbrough. They are the ones that are stopping this. They want to stop the National Guard from helping this effort. Now,
let me stop you right there, Joan, because as important as your opinion is, Joan Jones.
Yeah.
The time of Senator Marsha Blackburn is limited. She is joining us on Super Talk 99.7. Senator, always great to have you on. And Joan and I were just talking about the incredible results that we've been seeing in Memphis. As a matter of fact, here's what I'm seeing. I just got sent this to me. 2,930 arrests, 395 illegal firearms seized, 105 missing children have been found, and 144 gang members have been arrested. Yet, Senator, here we are with a judge blocking progress towards safe streets in Memphis.
And people in Memphis are so supportive of having the task force and the guard there. The polling shows that 63% of all Memphians are appreciative of what is being done. Crime is down 50% in Memphis. And you're right, 2,900 arrests. Those include murderers, rapists, people that abuse children, aggravated assault, robbery, carjacking. You've got the guns and weapons that have been seized. You've got 350 cars that have been recovered and 116 missing children. And these children have been returned to families, or if they can't go to a family, they've been moved to state custody. But the point is, Memphis is safer today. You look at these numbers and that violent crime rate being down, the carjackings being down 60%, assault being down 60%, and you know that Memphis is safer. I was in Memphis on Friday, and you know, every person that I talked with expressed their thanks. I talked to business owners that out at night. I talked to someone who said they had been back to Beale Street 2 times to see entertainers they wanted to see. People like the fact that kids can play in the yard, that they can ride their bikes. Parents are very pleased for this. Memphis, we are determined it is going to be the safest city in the United States. And, you know, the other thing, too, is we want to make certain Memphis is the model for how you move forward and how you break the crime cycle that is going on in some of these blue cities, from the police chief, the Memphis mayor, and so many people that are involved in this. They're grateful that these federal agencies are there, and they're grateful that the federal agencies are hard at work. And it is a concerted effort.
It is a concerted effort, and I think that, just speaking for myself, I think they're doing a great job. These judges will have blood on their hands if they are able to, and they're managed to, as they want to, extricate all of the law enforcement in these cities, not only Memphis, but you can talk about Chicago and the rest of them. I think clearly, Senator Blackburn, our side is on the right side here. Did I actually hear that you wanted to file a resolution commending the Memphis State Task Force?
Yes, indeed. I went to the floor yesterday with a resolution to commend the Memphis State Task Force and the participating agencies and the National Guard, the Tennessee Highway Patrol, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, all that are involved in this. And the Democrats actually had Chris Murphy out of Connecticut come to the floor and object to that. I said, so you are objecting to having Memphis be there to say, we appreciate 2,900 arrests and illegal weapons being removed and children being found and murderers and rapists being apprehended. You're objecting to this. And, Dan, I will say this too. Mike Donovan, who is the U.S. Attorney in the Western District, he is really doing a solid job getting these cases assigned. These firearms cases and carjackings and things that can be tried as federal crimes, much of these felony offenses, they are taking them on. And what you have seen is the Department of War and Secretary Hegseth have sent JAG officers to help with these prosecutions. You're also seeing lawyers from ICE and DHS that are in Memphis backing up the U.S. Attorney. You also have U.S. Marshals from around the country. And Gotti Seralto, who I did one of my Unmuted with Marsha podcasts with a couple of weeks ago, he has U.S. Marshals there working with Tyrese Miller, who is the U.S. Marshal for the Western District. And this is their emphasis, is to put this model in place and say, working as a team, we are going to break this crime cycle that Memphians have wanted to see broken. We're going to make certain Memphis is a safe city.
Senator, a couple of other things real quick. Of course, everyone knows you were on the forefront of wanting transparency with the Epstein files. And, of course, here we are with the House and the Senate and Donald Trump voting to and signing these to be released in 30 days. Are you happy with where this conversation is now with the release in 30 days, given the fact that there is another investigation that is now ongoing that may end up with some of those documents being held back?
I know that there were conversations about redacting the names of victims and making certain the victims were not harmed. And as you know, I've worked on this issue of the sex trafficking and human trafficking for quite a while. And my team and I've met some of these victims. We don't want them to be harmed. What we do want, and I will say this is not about celebrities and salacious headlines to me. This is about finding out who was working with Jeffrey Epstein, who was bankrolling this. Dan, human trafficking is now $270 billion a year business, and it primarily affects women and children. and breaking apart these human trafficking, sex trafficking rings, and then bringing these people into court so they can be prosecuted. And this is modern day slavery, and it has got to end. And we've done a tremendous amount of work in this space. Yesterday, I spoke to a coalition that is working globally on this. We talked about my Report Act and my Prince Act and the End Child Trafficking Now Act that have all been signed into law, and they're helpful in breaking these cycles apart. What we have been missing is those financial documents from Jeffrey Epstein, who was kind of the kingpin of all of this, it appears, here in the U.S., and connecting those dots so that we can break this apart and end this. And I am very hopeful we're going to be able to get those financial documents, and we're going to be able to move forward to protect women and children, and to see so many of these individuals that have been caught in this trafficking, to see them rescued and to become survivors and to go on to a productive life, to be thrivers.
Absolutely. Senator, last question here. Of course, a lot of people asking about the $500,000 provision for senators who had their data breached in the continuing resolution. Of course, a two-part question, if you can. Number one, did you know that provision was in the continuing resolution? How did it get there? Number two, were you surprised by the blowback?
For me, this has never been about money. This is about getting justice for what happened with Arctic frost. And I didn't write it. I didn't put it in the bill. It ought to come out of the bill. It ought not to be there. And removing it's the right thing to do. What we've got to focus on is the harm was done by Jack Smith and Arctic Frost in that CR-15 unit. And every single one of those people need to be held to account. And of course, you're going to see a lot of investigations. You're going to see hearings. You're going to see subpoenas. We're trying to get Judge Boasberg, who signed 197 of these subpoenas against 430 groups and individuals. And quite honestly, I want to find out what all they got, other than my cell phone records. Did they go after texts? Did they go after email? Did they go after financial documents? This has to be held to account. And it was Jack Smith, it was Arctic Frost, and we've got to get to the bottom of it. It gets bigger, deeper, wider every single day. And I want to make certain that these people are prosecuted. I want Jack Smith disbarred. He ought to be in jail. And people that were in that CR-15 unit with him, they need to be prosecuted, disbarred, and they need to be in jail. It is the worst weaponization against a group of conservatives, against a political opponent. And what they did to Donald Trump, to his family, and to conservatives, we have to make certain this never happens again.
And we'll leave it there. Thank you, as always, Senator Marsha Blackburn, for joining us here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And let's see. So she said that she didn't know. I think she said, I'd have to go back and look at the tape, listen to the tape. I don't think she said that she didn't know that the $500,000 was in there, and she said that it should come out. That's one of the big things that because I asked for her to come on and talk about that, among other things. And I think there was a lot of pushback. Both Bill Hagerty and Marsha Blackburn came out immediately. It was almost immediately, wasn't it, Joan? Where they came out and said, no, we don't want the $500,000. No, we were just kidding. So
that is the most bizarre thing ever.
Yeah.
And would she have signed something that she didn't know was in there? I
don't know. It was slipped in at the last minute, they say. Yeah. So, but they came out and they said they don't want it. So all you can do is take them at their word. But, for me, I think the bigger, broader point, is that, number one, to make sure that our senators and our congresspeople are not spied upon by the opposition. That's number one. But, at the same time, you look at what's going on with, we talked about this at the time, the people from January 6th and how they had a lot of their records absconded with and their data absconded with, and they ended up in jail. And so there's a lot of people that were saying, well, the senators get this protection, but everyday people don't, which is also one of the big reasons for the pushback against this, with the $500,000 per issue. And so it could end up ultimately being $500,000. It could be $1 million if there was another instance where they took where they tried to find other parts of your communication. So each instance. And so somebody could clean up, but they took it out. I don't know. I kind of felt like it was just a big never mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they realized that they got caught.
Dumb move.
And it was a dumb idea.
Yeah.
So, and I see that. Should have been in there in the first place. And, to your point, with Senator Blackburn, she said, didn't know how it got in there, and it shouldn't have been in there. She signed it, but now she is one of the first to come out and say that she not only will not accept the money, but that does need to be taken out of the legislation. Although I think didn't it stay in? It stayed in, but now they have
to strip it out.
They've got to strip it out, and Mike Johnson is taking care of that. So that's what they're working on now. Anyway, it is 7:53. There you go. Nashville's Morning News. Joan, what's coming up?
So FEMA overpaid her, and now a Florida congresswoman has just been indicted. Also, we have a big surprise from the Labor Department that just came out moments ago. We'll tell you all about that coming up at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Is it a good surprise or a bad surprise?
It's a good surprise.
Are you sure?
I am so sure.
Because I've had a lot of bad surprises this morning, Joan.
Well,
Sam was late, and there's a big inflatable turkey in the studio.
Yeah, but you had a surprise guest out of the senator.
Senator Marsha Blackburn calling in. Absolutely. That was great as well. That was a good surprise.
Yeah, surprised me too. I didn't know I was yammering on while she was on the line. Sorry.
I just wanted to see how long you would go while the senator was waiting.
Oh, my.
All right, 7:54. Thank you, Joan, on Super Talk 99.7. Dan Mandis here from my friends at Stoltz Co., a great Tennessee company. They do continue to grow and expand. At Stoltz Co., they build pole barns, and that these pole barns can serve as a garage, an event space, an equestrian building, even barn dominiums. You can live in these pole barns, and these days, those barn dominiums, they are new and improved. Stoltz Co. is now offering you turnkey options. Now, that means that they handle the design, the construction, and yes, the amazing finishing touches as well. You turn the key, and you are home. And now they offer storm shelters as well to keep you and your family safe. So, bottom line is, your new pole barn from Stoltz Co., it can be used as anything. So if you've got some land that needs something, think about a pole barn from Stoltz Co. Whatever you want, call them, 615-622-5992. Stoltz Co., 615-622-5992. You can also find examples of their terrific work on Instagram and Facebook. And check them out online, STOLTZO, StoltzCo.com. 7:58, Nashville's morning news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, I can't take the suspense.
Oh, you have to. No. I'm not telling you now.
You're not going to tell me what the big jobs numbers are?
No. And you probably already see it anyway, so don't be telling on me.
Well, I know the chip maker NVIDIA beat earnings expectations. Does that mean that Nancy Pelosi has made another $50 million?
It's likely.
Because,
Yeah. And maybe we should have asked Marsha about that, because they're apparently bantering around more legislation that would stop anybody in Congress from having any investments at all.
You know what? Nancy Pelosi ruined it for everybody. Oh, well, Tim Burchett. You see Tim Burchett? He came out yesterday. Let me see if I can find the audio. He came out yesterday and just eviscerated his fellow members of Congress.
Yeah, but did he find the two guys that peed on his driveway?
I don't know if he found the two guys that peed on his driveway. I don't know. Should I text him and ask?
Oh, yeah, I think you should.
Should I? I don't know. If somebody's already, found out whether or not he was able to find the two guys that, peed on his property, then
come on.
I don't want to make him mad.
I wonder if he told them, "You're in trouble."
Yeah.
It's 8:00 on
Boy.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Metro Police are searching for a suspect right now who had escaped custody at Nashville General Hospital yesterday morning. Officers say 20-year-old Marcus Stanton had been handcuffed when he ran away from police. He was being treated for swallowing the evidence that he was holding, so police couldn't get their hands on them. This man tells Channel 4 he just can't believe it.
Man, it's pretty alarming, but it's not surprising what goes on around here in this neighborhood. And we just got to watch out for the kids, man.
Stanton had been wanted on multiple warrants, including auto and gun theft. A Democrat congresswoman from Florida, Sheila Sherfilis-Mabin, has just been hit with a federal indictment accusing her of stealing $5 million in FEMA funds. Here's Local 10 News Miami reporter Aaron Mabin.
Federal prosecutors say Sherfilis McCormick and her brother Edwin Sherfilis ran a FEMA-funded COVID-19 vaccination staffing contract through their family health care company. Prosecutors say in July 2021, the company received a $5 million overpayment. Prosecutors say the group diverted that money and tried to hide it through multiple accounts. The indictment says a large portion of those funds was used for campaign contributions and personal expenses.
Now, if convicted, she could face 53 years in prison. Former Vice President Dick Cheney's funeral is being held in Washington, D.C. this morning, 10 o'clock. ABC News reporting that former President Joe Biden will attend, but he won't speak. That'll be left up to former President George W. Bush. He'll offer a tribute to his former wingman. This is how it sounded last night outside a prominent Manhattan synagogue. Also heard from the anti-Semites globalize the Intifada and take another settler out. The crowd heckling attendees of an event for an organization that helps Jews to immigrate to Israel. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Okay, here you go. The U.S. economy added a much better than expected 119,000 jobs in September. Here's how it sounded on CNBC this morning.
This is the September jobs report. Non-farm payrolls are up a robust 119,000. 119,000 would be the best since April, when we were up 158,000.
Now, according to a shutdown delayed report from the Labor Department, we're not also going to get the October numbers because of the shutdown. Right now, Dow futures are up 462 points. NASDAQ futures gaining 536. The S&P futures are up 110. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, so we have a crash on Highway 100 in Belmead. This is south of Harding Pike. Also in Antioch on Laurel Hill Road at Hickory Highlands Drive. And then one more, it's on McFerrin Avenue at Marina Street. There could be some fog still this morning, a dense fog advisory for about another hour. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7.
Listen, Joan, I can tell you that any and all concerns about the economy are now completely gone.
Is that right?
Yep, I'm going to tell you why coming up.
Okay,
All
I
right.
love it.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
So, Joan, have you ever heard of the tooth fairy indicator?
The tooth fairy indicator.
The tooth fairy indicator. Have you ever heard of the tooth fairy indicator?
I think you're going to enlighten me. I'm not really sure.
So the tooth fairy indicator, you can tell how the economy is doing by how much money the tooth fairy gives to children who have lost their teeth. The tooth fairy indicator.
Okay.
All those years at the Wall Street Journal, you have never covered the tooth fairy indicator.
It's not one of the things that we, covered. Mm-mm.
So anything over $10 is sort of like an indicator that the economy is going to be just fine.
Okay.
Right? Anything under $10, and we know that there's going to perhaps be dark skies ahead economically.
Okay.
So I happen to know for a fact that there is a child in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The tooth fairy left that child $20.
What?
$20.
I got a quarter when I was a kid.
Well, how was the economy when you were a kid? Probably not very good. It was the Great Depression.
My parents were cheap.
Well, you could also buy a gallon of gas for a quarter back then.
Yeah, that's true.
So apparently, according to the tooth fairy indicator, that youngling in Murfreesboro, that's going to be economy is going to be just fine.
Hang on, was
lo
that
and behold,
Chris?
It was Chris Hand.
So we're
Chris's son.
anti-Halloween, but we're pro-tooth fairy.
I'll let you deal with that with Chris when he gets here. But I just think that it does bode well for our economy. So we got
Chris,
two.
why are you giving your kids that much money? Oh, my goodness.
It's not Chris. It's the tooth fairy. What is wrong with
sorry.
you, woman?
I misspoke.
You're shattering the minds of small children all across. Next, you're going to start spouting off about Santa Claus, which I almost got fired for years ago.
Story?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I may or may not have said on national radio, here's the way I'm going to say it. The truth about Santa Claus, period. Full stop. That's all we're going to say.
You did not.
I did. And I almost got fired. Like,
seriously?
Yes. I got a what the heck were you thinking from the people that I worked for. So I'm sorry. So it's much better than for the tooth fairy to overpay.
I suppose.
And now with 119,000 jobs added, that is another indicator that the economy is going to be great. So there you go.
It was a very good report. That report also indicated that people are spending money and they're paying their bills on time. There was just an all around, it was really a very
rosy.
good.
It was rosy.
It was
what
rosy.
It was. Okay, well, very good. That's kind of weird because I keep hearing about how the economy is about to collapse.
Oh, yeah. Well, there are some people who are, so NBC News reported it as the U.S. added a robust 119,000 jobs in September, but there are still signs of a weakening labor market.
What's the signs? Like, in other words, they always, here's what it is that if it's Trump, there's always going to be sort of like a tinge of darkness.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think that is part of what it is that they're just trying to desperately find some sort of a negative tinge to this report, which is, it sounds good. I mean, if we're adding a bunch of jobs and jobs more than expected, I think that that's a good thing.
Details of the report. This is from NBC. From the Bureau of Labor Statistics paint a more mixed picture of a labor market that has recently begun to look more wobbly amid high-profile layoff announcements.
We'll have to wait and see what happens.
I think so.
All right. Real quick, we've been talking about this Aftyn Behn audio all morning long, right? So if you're just joining us here in the 8 o'clock hour, thank you. That's number one. But number two, Aftyn Behn, of course, she is running for the 7th Congressional District. And some audio has been leaked. I'm going to play this just one time. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to play it one time. We think that we may have found the source of this audio. At least Sam has been doing some digging. This was dropped overnight. This is Aftyn Behn.
I've been heavily involved with the Nashville mayoral race because I hate the city. I hate the bachelorettes. I hate the pedal taverns. I hate country music.
That's a lot of hate for one woman.
I hate all of the things that make Nashville, apparently, and its city to the rest of the country, but I hate it. Yeah, I'm that girl at the airport that all these bachelorettes are giddy walking out in their two-toned colored Pantone pink shirts, and they walk out and I'm like, they're like, oh my God, Nashville is so bad.
They're so loud.
Very judgy, Aftyn Behn. And the point that I've been making all morning long is that Lower Broad, if you're standing, this is what Grok said to me today, if you're standing in front of Tootsie's, All Red, Jason Aldean's Bar, or any of the classic honky-tonks on Lower Broadway, you are in Tennessee's 7th Congressional District. So Aftyn Behn wants to represent a district that she hates. And it is a district that tends to bring a lot of jobs and a lot of revenue, not only to the city of Nashville, the 7th Congressional District, but also the state of Tennessee. So the question is, number one, when was this quote? Because literally she's talking about hating an area that she wants to represent. And I think a lot of people are asking the question about whether or not how serious to take this comment that she made apparently in
the Status Coup podcast in 2023. The episode was titled Tennessee's Progressive Firebrand, Rep. Aftyn Behn on Fighting for Justice in the Heart of the South, hosted by Jordan Chariton. Yeah, Chariton. And it said it can be accessed here. And you click the YouTube link and this video isn't available anymore. So
it's been pulled down.
I asked Grok, well, find what month was the episode? It was published in October of 2023. What day? October 17th. So I go to the Status Coup podcast page on Spotify, and in 2023, we've got an episode published on September 12th, September 13th, September 20th, October 11th, October 12th, and then there is a gap from October 12th to November 1st of no episodes.
So it sounds like they pulled down her podcast.
And potentially others, but if they pulled the whole podcast, she must have said something even more egregious.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, because the thing is with folks on the left is that it's real cool to say, oh, I hate country music, I hate the bars, because they see that as something that is emblematic of conservatism, right? Country music. They see that as representing conservatism, and I think that that's a shame. I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there who are Democrats and also like or certainly sing country music. So I don't know. But here's the thing. I don't know if even this, where Aftyn Behn is literally talking about hating part of the district that she wants to represent, and all those people that are working in those honky-tonks and Old Red and all of these other places, and her just perpetual hate of the tourism industry in Nashville, I think that makes her a dangerous choice to be the congressperson for the 7th, because she despises what the district stands for partially.
Yeah, almost as dangerous as how poor they draw on the comptroller's maps were.
So anyway, it is 8:15, Nashville's Morning News. Time to check the roads on WTN. As far as your weather goes, it is going to be a nice day. Cloudy, not as warm. Couple of showers in the afternoon. Going to feel like 65. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. the situation with Donald Trump and the H-1B visa conversation, it has been, let's just say, a bit of a train wreck for the Trump administration. Getting word from people within the Daily Signal, and Joan, does it take a highfalutin political analyst to figure this out?
I don't think so.
The headline, the Trump administration is divided about how to reform the controversial H-1B visa program. A senior administration official telling the Daily Signal, one faction wants to restrict the program so much that it won't be usable, while others believe it is useful to bring in talent. And so the question is, where does the Republican Party at large, where do they stand on the whole H-1B visa thing? Are you pro Marjorie Taylor Greene, which is like, gut the whole thing? Or are you pro Donald Trump, where he is saying that we needed to bring in talent? This is something that the president said yesterday. Needs some video.
Done. And we're not going to be successful if we don't allow people that invest billions of dollars in plant and equipment to bring a lot of their people from their country to get that plant open, operating, and working. I'm sorry. So my poll numbers just went down, but with smart people, they've gone way up.
Wow. Did you hear what he said? I'm going to play it one more time. Because basically, he's calling anyone who doesn't agree with him dumb. Am I overstating that? I might be overstating that. Joan,
yeah,
mom of the show, am I overstating this? This is what the president said about people that disagree with him on H-1B visas.
Been operating and working. I'm sorry.
Here it comes.
So my poll numbers just went down, but with smart people, they've gone way up.
Yeah.
I don't know. How do you take that, Joan?
If you don't agree with him, you're
not smart.
Not smart.
Now, look, I'm not gonna quibble over the things that Donald Trump says. He says what he says, and he's gonna do what he does. We have an adult disagreement with Donald Trump on this, and adults within a political party are going to have to figure out the best way forward. That's the bottom line. And the White House is obviously trying to figure this out. I don't like what he said about basically saying that if you disagree with him, you're dumb.
And way up. And I mean that. So for those of you that are doing the plants, you're going to have all the help you need, and you're going to do a great job. And you're going to teach our people how to do it, and our people are going to be just as good as your people ever were in not such a long period of time.
So that is President Trump. And listen, I know that this is going to be one of those topics that people are going to be debating, right? So with President Trump, he's saying, and this was in front of the Saudi Investment Forum, and he got a great deal from the Saudis, man. Holy mackerel. So he's talking to the Saudis, and he's saying, if you invest in America, then you can bring some of your own people here, help set it up, get us going, build the car, turn on the keys, and then you're going to teach us how to drive this thing. That's what the president is saying. And I actually understand that. You see, I hate to tell you this, folks, but I can see both sides on this. I can. I know you people hate when I say that, but it's not black or white. It is true. The H-1B visa program is full of a ton of loopholes that are taking the jobs of American citizens. And we're importing all of these people from places like India and China to take away our jobs, and especially some of our jobs that are, starting out jobs. And so you've got Donald Trump that is saying we need people of a certain caliber to be able to come in and teach our people how to do certain things. There's more than likely an element of truth to that, but there's also a lot of truth, factual proof, where you have these corporations that are utilizing these loopholes, the H-1B visa loopholes, to bring in all of these people into our country and take our jobs. There is a lot of truth to that, and people are really angry. And I stand by what I said earlier this week, I think last week too, where this news cycle, this election cycle, the H-1B visa conversation is going to be just as important as the conversation regarding illegal immigration a while ago. I'm just telling you what. So we'll have to see where this whole thing goes. But President Trump, you just heard him, and he is not backing down. Based on what he said in front of the Saudi Investment Forum, President Trump is not going to back down on what he said regarding importing some talent so that they could train Americans. So that's what the president is saying. That is his take, and he's sticking to it. It is 8:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986, 615-737-WWTN. Text messages coming in fast and furious today. Love it. And Joan Jones has the news coming up at 8:30. Joan, what's up?
The search is on, Dan, for a pregnant woman from Nashville who disappeared after taking an Uber ride. We've got details coming up here at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
On YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, and the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
8:22 on Super Talk Window Nation. Listen, it may feel pretty good today, but it's going to get really cold really quick. And you need windows that are going to keep your hot air inside and the cold air out. Window Nation can do that for you. And right now, you can take advantage of Window Nation's end-of-year sale going on through November. So you've got, about a week and a half, 2 weeks left as this sale continues. Now, here's what you can do. You can get 50% off all window styles. You can get 0% interest financing for 5 years. So look, friends, if you've been thinking about getting replacement windows for your old windows, you owe it to yourself to call my friends at Window Nation. Again, 50% off all window styles. You could get 0% interest financing for 5 years, courtesy of Window Nation. I've got 4 of their windows in my home, 2 in my basement studio, 1 in my kitchen, 1 in my bedroom as well. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and 45,000 5-star reviews, including mine. Call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 866-90-NATION, 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. $8:23 on Super Talk 99.7. Contours. Listen, so many of my listeners and now Matt Murphy's listeners as well, heading to Contours to lose some of that stubborn belly fat. They can help you at Contours. Now, I'm here to tell you that their Belly Buster special, utilizing red light technology, it is completely non-invasive. It is painless. It involves no downtime. Their unique and effective red light technology is considered to be far safer than any other methods widely available in the market that remove or kill fat cells. Now, you got to check them out, Contours. Their website, by the way, is contoursllc.com. They can also help you with the fine lines on your face. This is next for yours truly, by the way. So they can do that red light technology on your face. The results are amazing. So if you want to lose those fine lines, they're going to disappear. Some of your blemishes are going to go away as well. And it's going to make your skin look that much better. And so right now, when you call Contours, you mention my name, you can get not only a Belly Buster special, but also a special facial trial for $149. That's it, just $149. Check him out online, contoursllc.com, 615-236-9960 for Contours. Yeah, Joan, I really don't like it when they speed up my voice in the commercials.
Yeah, I hate
mean,
that
it's higher
too.
enough, people. Cut a line. Don't make me long or, shorter and speed up my voice. Because then I just sound like this.
It's cute.
Wait, is there a difference?
No. Mason
morning, Dan.
for the win.
Hey, Mason's here, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, 4231 has something to say about Donald Trump and the whole thing with the H-1B visas and having to bring in people to train Americans. This is 4231. Can you make sure my audio's up? Mason? Come on, man. Don't slow me down. Make sure my audio's up. Thank you.
Hey, Dan, but he's right to a certain point. I'll give him that. He's right to a certain point. You've got to have those people come in here and set their things up and running. Now, after that, they need to get them on out of here. I don't know how that's going to work, but they need to get them on out of here. But I am, for one, so tired of hearing him say, well, they're here to do the jobs that the American people won't do. That's what the Democrats told everybody about the illegal immigrants coming in here, and that's bull.
There you go.
Stopped it right in time.
I did, because he did. So memo to my fellow WTN talk show hosts, my brethren. When people send you audio bites recorded on their phone and then texted in, make sure you preview it. Because 4231 wants to see me get in trouble because I could have aired the BS word. And that would have been good. I'm already in enough trouble around here. All right, it is 8:29, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super text line, very active today, thank you, 615-737-9986. Now, I'm not sure if Chris Hand is here yet.
I haven't seen him.
Because,
usually I see him right over there.
We had the big controversy about, about the tooth fairy and the tooth fairy economic indicators that we discussed earlier. So I would think that he would be wanting to be here to, I know what the problem is.
Defend himself.
Do you know what the problem is, Joan?
It's not traffic.
No. There's nowhere for him to sit. We got this stupid turkey in here.
Oh, yeah. Well, he could sit on the turkey's lap.
He could, but the turkey literally says, do not touch, gobble, waddle. Gobble, waddle.
I thought it said Aftyn Behn on it.
No, that's what I'll be adding later.
Gotcha.
That's my name for the turkey is Aftyn. Well, I guess that's it. It is 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It is now 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A search underway right now for a pregnant Nashville woman who went missing after taking an Uber ride to a Nashville apartment complex. 37-year-old Tiffany Moore hasn't been seen since Tuesday. Channel 4's Tracy Cornett.
Her husband told police his wife was dropped off at the Twin Oaks Drive apartment complex on Tuesday. Investigators searched the complex. They weren't able to find her. Her phone was last pinged to a home on Cross Creek Road, but she was not there.
Now, her husband also told police that he knocked on the door of an apartment where the Uber dropped her off, and he did hear noises coming from inside that apartment, but reports that no one answered the door. We'll keep on top of that. We're learning more about a growing dispute over the estate of Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson's daughter is suing the handlers of her father's multi-billion-dollar estate. In court documents, Paris Jackson accuses John Branca and John McClane of abusing their roles as executors of the estate, claiming the men paid themselves nearly $150 million over the course of 12 years, more than $10 million in 2021 alone. Paris claims that's more than double what any member of the Jackson family received.
That's ABC's Maggie Ruley. The men claim that Jackson's estate was already $500 million in debt when he died. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. A report this morning that said non-farm payrolls increased by 119,000 in September, up from 4,000 jobs in August that were lost in August following a downward revision. Now, the unemployment rate did edge a bit higher. It's now at 4.4% from 4.3%. There will be no report, by the way, for October because the shutdown managed to eliminate that report. But we are seeing that report has helped to rally stocks. Now, Trading has begun now. It's 8:32. And right now, the Dow Jones Industrials, listen to this, are up 629 points.
Wow.
Yeah, the NASDAQ is rising 447. S&P 500 index up 104 right now. Pretty good.
That is good.
Latest news there. Traffic and weather are next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. Dan Mandis here. Now listen, what if every home had a touch of magic where every device was connected by an invisible force? Well, it's not wizardry. It is the most intelligent Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Now, Wi-Fi is so brilliant, it knows when to boost speeds to the devices that need it the most, making the Emerald City Sparklify for your wicked watch party, or instantaneously pause any device without the tap of a wand. That's right. Or grant your devices the power to protect against threats at home and online, keeping you and your family safe from mischief. Now, with Xfinity Mobile, you can stream from the end of your driveway to the edge of Oz with intelligent Wi-Fi and 5G together. That's huge. And right now, you can cast a spell to stop time and keep your internet price steady for 5 years guaranteed. Plus, you get Wi-Fi equipment included, no contracts or commitments. Sure, it all feels like magic, but it really is intelligent Wi-Fi from Xfinity. Xfinity, imagine that, and see Wicked for good. Only in theaters beginning on November 21st. Restrictions apply. Select plans only. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet.
Okay, so we have an accident in Belmead on Highway 100 south of Harding Pike, also in Antioch on Rural Hill Road at Hickory Highlands Drive. Still looks pretty slow this morning in a number of spots. It's all the usual places that you'll find volume delays heading into work this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$8:37. Joan, Chris unplugged it.
Yeah.
The turkey just deflated like my morning usually does by about 8:45.
Is that because Chris unplugged it?
Chris unplugged it.
I knew it.
He unplugged it.
He's no fun. No.
Well, in fairness,
fun
there
at all.
was no place for Chris to sit.
I told you he should just sit on the turkey's lap.
No. I'm a grown man, Joan.
It would have been fun for the rest of us.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
That would have been fun. Anyway, so we're trying to decide what to name the turkey. I believe it should be named Aftyn.
Oh.
So, you know.
That's good.
Yeah.
Does the turkey hate Nashville?
I don't know, but very funny indeed. So, yeah, I walked in this morning, and that was what greeted me. And so I can only imagine the fun and frivolity that happened yesterday during the Murphy show as I was slumbering.
Well, one Matt Murphy had sent me a picture at about 7:15 last night
Oh,
of
he
the
did?
turkey with the lights off. It looked a lot more cool with the lights off than it did with the lights on.
It actually was cool. But when I got here,
it glows.
It did glow. It did glow. And I actually like the turkey in here, actually.
Do you?
It gets lonely in here at times. Do you agree that it gets lonely in here sometimes?
No, with this audience and having Mason and Joan, I never feel lonely. So it feels like a big family.
Is that what it is? Mason got that. All right, very good. So let's talk about a number of different things. Number one, so just give me your over under on Aftyn Behn. Like that is an incredible soundbite. A woman who says that she hates part of the district that she wants to cover. And by the way, represent. And that's a very important part of the district. I mean, you're talking about Lower Broadway, a lot of money coming into Nashville.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you think that that's actually going to hurt her very much?
That's okay. So that's where I was going to go.
I was joking. So last night I had sent it to Murphy. That's how we started texting and found our way to Turkey Talk.
Yes.
So I sent him a text and I said, geez, I've never agreed with Aftyn Behn more than I do today because I too get a little bit annoyed with the pedal taverns and the woo girls. But
But do you
Murphy,
hate Nashville?
No, not at all. I love Nashville. But Murphy said to me, he says, every time I see a pedal tavern and a bachelorette party, I think lower taxes. And so I said, I have to retrain my brain the way you see the world. I hope one day to see the world the way Murphy does.
Listen, I will admit I'm not a big fan of the woo girls, and but I love Nashville. There's certain aspects. Hey, Joan, you spent some time in Nashville too. Mason, you can answer this. So we all know. Let's do best and worst. What do we love and what do we hate about Nashville? All right. So I'm going to start. I love places like, and I've gone to Old Red now a couple of times. I love having a nice, breakfast on a cool morning with on a rooftop bar or restaurant. I love doing that. I don't go on a Saturday night. I don't go on a Friday night.
Right.
I'll go on a Saturday or Sunday morning, mid-afternoon. And it's incredibly pleasant. I love going to the Preds games. But do you know what I really love about Nashville? I love being able to go into downtown. And for the most part, if we're staying, where we should go, it's safe. It is relatively safe. Now, horrible things happen, like we always see in bigger cities. But I mean, by and large, you feel relatively safe. And you're now. What I hate about it is all the drunkenness and all the vomit in the roads and everything else. But I mean, it's a small price to pay for having a dynamic as we have in Nashville.
Yeah, I would say I love the food. I think Nashville is an underrated food city, and I think no matter what you want, you can find it here, and that's huge. I don't like the homeless problem. That seems to always continually grow, and I don't like driving with my wife downtown. It was 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and she turned to her right, and she went, "Oh my gosh." Well, what happened? She goes, "That man is pooping over there." And so that kind of stuff annoys me.
Yeah.
But hey, we're doing what we can to help with that. And shout out to the radiothon that we have coming on Monday, because there are great organizations that are trying to help fix that issue here in Nashville.
Yeah, there are. And looking forward to that on Monday. Do you know what's going to happen on Monday? Joan's going to be with me down there.
Whoa, let's go, Joan.
Very exciting.
Yeah. My first time. I'm excited.
Joan came to me and she said, "Dan, I'm begging you. I just want to spend more time with you at a homeless shelter." That's what she said.
Yeah, not likely.
She said,
likely.
"I'm tired of you feeling all alone, Dan, and I want to be there with you."
I'm tired of you being stuck at remotes with Mason alone.
I may have gone to Joan and said, "Will you please come with me?" And she did. And so I'm very excited to have Joan with me down there. Because, 5 o'clock in the morning and before the calls really start coming in.
Yep.
By the way, people, and I'm going to mention this during my 5 o'clock hour, incessantly, like tomorrow. 5 o'clockers, I'm counting on you.
Please call.
Please call and donate in the 5 o'clock hour because that always gets us off to a good start.
Yep.
And Joan's going to be there.
And I'll answer the phone.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's always deflating because I'm like, oh, yeah, if you want to call up and talk to me off the air, just, give like $5 and nobody ever calls.
Oh.
I know. But if you want to talk to Joan, let's say right now, how much would you pay to talk to Joan off the air?
Oh, people would pay
a lot of money.
$150, $200 easy.
$200.
Quarter.
Two and a quarter.
A solid quarter.
Two and a quarter.
$225.
Quarter mil.
Well, it almost sounds like what the tooth fairy is giving your kids.
Chris, I got to talk to you about that. $20.
I don't know what you're talking about. I had nothing to do with it.
It was all the tooth fairy.
The only conclusions we could come to is that obviously the tooth fairy was behind schedule. And,
Behind schedule? So you had a rotten tooth laying around?
No. The tooth fairy's behind schedule. It couldn't make change. It wasn't about to go out, while she's on her route.
Oh, I thought you were saying behind schedule, like it had missed some payments and there was interest accrued.
No, there wasn't any. I don't think that happens.
Which child was it?
Bishop. Bishop lost his first tooth. It was hilarious.
Doesn't Bishop have Venmo?
He calls me in the middle of the day, and I'm like, what's going on? Because he has this strip of blood down the middle of his nose. And he's like, do you notice anything? And I was like, yeah, you have blood on your face. And then he shows me his tooth. He's like, look at this. He's like, I just popped it out, Dad.
He just popped it out?
He popped it out. And I guess when he popped it out.
Is right in the front?
It was one of the front ones that like a squirt of blood went right up his nose. And it was just sitting there while he's on the phone with me. It's dried. And he's like, you notice anything? I do.
Do you remember when we were kids having the loose tooth back there and having it just like hang?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like sitting there playing. I remember walking up to my mom one time and it was like hanging by a thread. And I'm like, I'm like.
The danglers.
Yeah, the dangler. And I'm just poking it with my finger. I'm like, Mom, can you just pull this darn thing out? No, you have to let nature take its course. Like, oh my God.
Did you guys ever forget? I'm sorry. Did the tooth fairy ever forget to drop some money under the pillow?
No, the tooth fairy doesn't forget. I think the only issues.
Does.
No, the only issues that happen is tooth placement. Tooth placement is a problem at times. I've learned.
So it's the fault of the child.
Yeah, if the tooth isn't placed in the right spot under the pillow, I mean, it's a little fairy. She can't lift up a giant kid.
Yeah,
if the tooth is in the wrong. So tooth placement is a big deal.
Well, you know what I used to.
We've learned that a couple times.
You know what when I was a kid, I would put the tooth next to me under a different pillow.
Yes, that's
so it
actually
wasn't under my pillow. It was under my little twin bed.
Yep, we started doing that after we had realized that the kids were getting too heavy for the tooth fairy to lift at times.
It's exactly right.
So
takes away that excuse, though.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the tooth fairy might not like being called a little fairy.
No.
I mean, times have changed, Chris.
True.
Yeah.
They may be tall for the average fairy.
Could be.
How tall is the average fairy?
Maybe robust.
How tall is the average fairy? Do you know?
I would say.
You should ask the left.
18 inches.
What's the most? Okay, so people are like $20 per tooth.
Is that the going rate?
I guess so. I literally got nickels and quarters.
Inflation is wild.
We would get silver dollars for our kids. The tooth fairy would get silver dollars for the kids.
Really?
Real silver, though?
No.
Oh.
Just regular silver dollars because they were different. But then sometimes the tooth fairy would forget and have to leave 2 of them the next time. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty bad. It was pretty bad. After the third kid, it was like,
4702 said, I used to get IOUs.
My mom gave me an IOU and a Christmas card once. I think it was that was a birthday card.
An IOU in the birthday card?
She literally gave me an IOU. It was something like, happy birthday, son, blah, blah, blah. I don't have any cash, but I'll give you $100 next payday. Like that was literally what it said in the card. And I was like 15 at the time. So, I mean, it wasn't a big heartbreaker to me. I just thought it was kind of funny that, because every year it was the same thing. I could not tell you the last time my mother actually got me an actual gift. Every year, $100. That's what you do, $100.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what?
That's okay.
I didn't mind it.
Right.
It's very practical, and and I don't mind cash, and so my mom would give me cash. Others might say that's the lazy way out.
No.
See, that's what I said. No, it's not the lazy way out. That's literally what I want. I want money. That's not all I want, but I mean, it's
a good portion of it.
Pretty significant. Anything else is like one adjacent. Anyway, yeah. So, actually, we used to talk about that all the time. When I was a boss, I would give out gift cards or cash. And it was suggested to me one time, maybe you should, if you really wanted to, connect with your employees, why don't you actually, get them something that is an actual gift? Maybe it might mean more. I chose not to do that because I knew that everybody would actually rather have cash.
Absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
You were a good boss.
Of course, now I don't have to do that anymore.
No, you don't.
Ha! You're all screwed. Let's see the new guy give you a cash bonus.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. That poor guy's running 2 radio stations. He'd go broke.
Clip it. Send it.
All right. I think that's it. Do you got anything for this?
I do. I sent you a DM. Did you see that Nikki Haley's son is actually pretty based?
Nikki Haley's son?
Nikki Haley's son, Nayland Haley. I think it's Nayland.
Nayland?
Nalin.
Okay.
Nalin.
Nalin. Probably Nalin.
Nayland Haley. He was on the Tucker Carlson podcast.
Okay.
And he says...
Which is crazy considering all the abuse Tucker gave his mom.
I know. But when you hear what this kid starts saying, he is very different from his mother. He said, naturalized citizens should not be able to hold office. They shouldn't. He said that you should limit the number of foreign students who are enrolling in U.S. universities. You should disallow dual citizenship, and you should forbid foreigners from serving in the military.
All right, here it is.
And there's so many different aspects to immigration that it's not just the migration part of it, but a lot of other things that are just out of control.
Like what?
So naturalized citizens should not be able to hold public office. Growing up here is a big part of understanding the country. We need to stop and limit the amount of foreign students that are coming into our universities. Some of them are spies, by the way, for foreign governments.
Hey, he is based.
Yeah.
But it's also just we should put our kids first.
Yes.
And we should also not allow dual citizenship because that's the stupidest idea.
How old is this guy?
He looked to be in his 20s.
You're either American or you're not. And everyone wants to make it so complicated. That's the thing that I don't like about the past generation is they're always about the rules, the process, and regulation. No, it's really simple. You're just America first. People should have their loyalty to America first. And if they can't do that, then this ain't the country for you.
No, there you go. I love it.
Listen, I would get behind that, Haley.
I would. Yeah, he sounds based. Did he say he wanted to get into politics?
No, but it sounds like if you're on the Tucker Carlson podcast, I think that you're leaning that way.
I think it'd be interesting to have Tucker have Nikki Haley herself on. I think that would be an amazing podcast.
Just have Nikki and Nayland on and have them debate each other. Here's why my mom is wrong about everything.
Oh, can you imagine Thanksgiving dinner? Well, clearly it does seem like he is. Although, America First, and I talked about this a couple of days ago, like America First and MAGA, kind of like two separate things now, it seems like. And so there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, there's a lot of overlap.
But like you got America First, not as exuberant in their Israel support. So that's number one. Number two, they are all about no H-1B visas. America First, no H-1B visas. Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, is all about that, except in the world of medicine. What are the other ones? No H-1B visas. Release, of course, the Epstein files. Just everything's got to be released.
It's just if it doesn't benefit America, then why are we doing it? Is really what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If it doesn't benefit America or Americans.
Mm-hmm. Who is the leader of America First? Is it Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I don't know. I don't know if America First has a leader. Would you think it was Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Marjorie Taylor. Well, if you based it on Epstein. You've got Marjorie Taylor Greene, and you've got Thomas Massey, right? So those two are the biggest ones. But I don't know if that's the number one issue. The number one issue, at least the one that came screaming out to me, is the one about the visas, the H-1B visas. That seems to be.
I don't know how Marjorie Taylor Greene could be the leader of America first while she's also saying we should limit the number of deportations because I own a construction company.
She did say that.
You know what I'm saying? So I have a
Yeah.
hard time saying that you're the leader of America first.
Well, I think what's going on is she's going to run for some sort of higher office in Georgia, maybe the governorship. I don't know. And so she needs to have some sort of a distancing from Donald Trump. I think that's what she's trying to do.
Maybe she looked at the poll numbers when Trump sent them to her and said, well, this is because of you, sir.
That maybe you never know. By the way, somebody says that I sound down today. Do I sound down today,
I saw
Joan?
that. No, I don't think so.
Mason, do you think I sound down?
Yeah. How could you be down? You had a giant inflatable turkey in here for most of the day.
You know what? How could my day be down if I've got a big inflatable turkey until, another turkey came in and deflated it?
I'm sorry, okay?
You deflated my turkey, man.
Feel terrible.
At least he didn't pop your turkey.
No, that would be
That
bad.
would have been mean.
I unplugged it. It looked like the scene from Christmas Vacation.
Right.
When they cut into that thing.
I know. It was very sad. It was very sad. But I do like the inflatable turkey. So maybe if Matt can every morning make sure that I have my turkey inflated, that would be great.
Have you watched Planes, Trains, and Automobiles yet?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah, it made me cry.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Why are you asking?
Because we're getting towards Thanksgiving, and that's one of the first holiday movies that you should be watching.
Made me cry. That
an
is such a great movie.
Not Miracle on 34th Street.
Have not seen that.
What?
It's overrated. Don't do it.
The old one. No. You got to watch the old one.
What's the one where he licks the pole?
Christmas Story.
Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Have yet to see. I do you know how many times I've tried to get through Christmas Story? I just can't.
Wow.
It's a stupid movie.
What?
It is I have tried to sit through a Christmas Story, and it is just, I can't do it.
You're not wrong about a lot, but you're wrong about that.
It's not one of my favorites either.
What?
Boom.
No.
You know what? Don't take it up with me. You take it up with Joan.
Oh, my gosh.
You got to watch things like White Christmas, Miracle on 34th Street.
Running Late.
You put the music on because you have a terrible taste in movies, Joan.
Joan, what's coming up?
Zoran and Donald are having a get-together tomorrow at the White House. Got a preview for you coming up at 9 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$8:55, Nashville's Morning News. I've been telling you for years about my friends at USS, United Structural Systems. They are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. I was a customer before I was an endorser. I'm one of 30,000 satisfied customers. And one recent review on Google, guy says at USS, they were highly professional and the crew was phenomenal from start to finish. And they treated his home as if they were working on their own home. And he does give United Structural Systems 5 stars all the way, as do I. You're not going to pay a dime until the work is done and you're a satisfied customer. And yes, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs. Now, again, what can they help you with? United Structural Systems, basement and crawl space waterproofing, basement wall stabilization, foundation repair. We guarantee our best. Call USS at 615-488-7855. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. USSTN.com. Dan Mandis here, Mark Spain Real Estate. Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate and get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all that hassle. Dan Mandis here. You know, I always recommend Mark Spain Real Estate to my friends in Nashville because I know they are going to trust, they're going to sell your home hassle-free with an all-cash offer, a strong all-cash offer. You know, they are the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got over 13,000 five-star reviews. And yes, you can trust my friends to sell your home fast and for maximum profit with Mark Spain Real Estate. They've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years, and they've served over 72,000 satisfied clients. Call them, tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out. 855-299-SOLD for Mark Spain Real Estate. 855-299-SOLD. Find them online anytime at markspain.com. That's markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.